This is going to be an insane best of 7. Did Land forget that he went for Mayans? Because he got housed there for a second. Welcome, everyone, to a best of 7. Winner of this best of 7 joins the main event of Hidden Cup, March 19th through the 22nd. So pay very close attention. Whoever wins moves on to face the big boys. And if they have any quirks, any styles, any civ preferences, anything, you might need to hold on to that, because we're going to have guessing competitions. We're going to have giveaways. You can actually earn money and items and merchandise by guessing the players correctly throughout the main event of Hidden Cup. All right. Lan, otherwise known as Antagonist. I feel like he wants to change his name to Antagonist, but everyone knew him as Lan for so long. So we'll compromise. Lantagonist is here in the blue. The Spaniard. And then we have the Russian, Winchester. I feel like we should change the colors, but we're... Wait, hold on. Ooh, Winchester always does that. Yeah, those colors don't work. Anyway, so Winchester's going to be in the red. And it's Ethiopians for Winchester. Mayans versus Ethiopians. I would have never expected to see Ethiopians in Game 1. You can reuse civilizations that you pick. And Ethiopians, in my opinion, are an underrated civ at the high level. Let's go. I think it's a perfect civilization for Winchester as well, because Winchester's such a micro nerd. And they have the faster firing archers. This map is just a dream for Vinch, too. Relic in the back corner. Stones are safe. With some walling here because of the cliff, he can make a bit of an arena for himself, and he's already found his sheep. He won't have any huge complaints. I don't think Lan will have any huge complaints either. You expect the Mayan player to probably wall, and a wall along the front and to the cliff on this side means that he'll have golds and stones secured, but he has more to do. Now, I'm excited, because in Game 1 of the Round 1 set between Winchester and FedEx, Winchester went for Celts, and he went for a very different strategy with Celts. He went Drush FC, which is not all that uncommon. But then he went for towers into a castle, and eventually went for this mega boom where he had Siege Onager and Elite Woad Rider against Mayans. You could see, if you wanted to do a very similar thing, which is not the case, but you could, in theory, go for Elite Shotel to counter Eagles from Mayans, and then Siege Onager to counter the Archers of Mayans. This feels like Drush Fast Castle territory for both of them. But then again, why does Lan only have 3 on wood? If you go 3 on wood, you're definitely not building that barracks early in Lan's position. T90 official, can we please get 1080p back? This is hurting my eyes, frowny face. Can we please get some smiley faces in the chat? Because all Nemo needs to do is refresh the stream, and then he'll have 1080p. I think everybody else has it. So it's time to be happy again. Winchester, you know, the player positions are a bit weird. Winchester still hasn't moved out. I guess he couldn't find his boar, so he needs to scout land soon if he wants to punish the fact he'll probably wall. I expect this to be where the barracks will go, and Land was scouting nice and early to see exactly what Vinch is up to. I would be doing the same. Someone picks Ethiopians against you, you want to know if it's going to be a Drush or a Man-at-Arms rush. Kinda looks like Man-at-Arms, doesn't it? Let's see. Could be a late Drush or it could be Man-at-Arms. And then Winchester will be able to find an area to push at Land's base. Almost looks like Man-at-Arms for Land as well. He's just lacking 2 wood to build the barracks. He'll probably place it there. I think Vinch has the map to Drush, though. Like, yeah, okay. Okay, so he's making militia. He's going to Drush to buy time. And I think we'll see the Mayan player go aggressive. And this is actually not how you normally see it. Normally you'd expect the person who gets plus 100 food, plus 100 gold when arriving to feudal. Playing against Mayans, they normally wall heavy. You'd expect the aggression to come from the Ethiopian player. But Winchester scouted his map, and I think this is the right play. Now he does need to wall. He should be able to do so pretty easily. Even has the deer here for more resources. Man, when the players wall like this, they're pretty close, aren't they? And there is a villager exposed there. Lan was waiting. Will Winchester be down a villager because of this greed? Oh! Oh Oh my god! Vinchester or Viper? I don't know. And is this a sneak? Is this a sneak villager from land? Now, Vinchester can see this, right? So if you have the foundation there, you can see it, but I don't know if he's noticed it. Oh, what a way to start the series, guys. What a way to start the series. Now, here's the Drush. Vinchester's getting loom now. Eventually, he'll have to bring that villager back home. This is not the best area to hit with the Drush. Hitting the gold is not the best area. You ideally want to hit the wood or hit the berries. A nice micro from Vinch, actually. He dodges most of those shots. And meanwhile, he has to wall in another villager. And she is going to go home. So this is some high-pressure stuff. Vinchester thinks he'll be fully walled. Does he know there's a villager inside here? Oh, if he walls his villagers in... Wait, hold on. Lady. Okay. Oh, the Drush is here. Land had to quick wall. What a unique start to the game. What a unique start to the game. You can tell we got the recorded games from Land because he sent it... Because it said he advanced the feudal age. Do we have to ask all the people to change their language to English? That's funny. Oh no! Land loses a villager on the berries. This is all over the place. But guys, Vinchester is still in Dark Age. But he's going out to this gold. Land said, I can't block you because you are host 11. Vinchester says, Dadgum, I thought same, cause you first color. Land said, never mind, go. That's some tilt from Land. So, it is true that whoever's host has, like, it's called block priority. It's definitely less in this patch. And I haven't seen it, like, near as much of an issue with it. But if you pause game 1 in a best of 7 to complain to your opponent about that, that means there's a lot that could tilt you over best of 7, you know? It's not a great sign for the mentality of Land throughout the rest of these games. Okay, well, Vinchester's Drush is still alive and well. He takes out a deer. And what's the follow-up here? I mean, you have the tower. That's a good tower, but Vinchester went to the gold? Is that something that Land has scouted? He has not scouted that either. It's pretty far away. So definitely not a Drush fast castle. These villagers are off berries temporarily, and I guess Vinchester will go into archers. What? Wait a second, can he actually pull off a Drush FC with this? With Ethiopians, he'll have the gold too. He'll have the food too. This is incredible. If Vinch somehow goes fast castle behind this, it's just sick. Oh, Land has to find where he's taking gold. Land has to be so confused. Look, he scouted everything. He scouted everything except that extra gold. And I can kind of understand why he wouldn't look here. But you've got to find it. Okay, he sees the walls now. Okay, I think... I think you send the archer there immediately. And you could even consider running forward and towering that if you're on stone, but he's not on stone to make another one. Okay, now what does Vinch do? If Vinch realizes that he's been scouted... Now, he's going to be sending some archers over. But he needs to click up to Castle Age, and he needs to hold on to this gold for as long as possible. You know, this scout from Vinchester is huge here. If he sees the archer coming in, he could actually pick it off. Watch this. Oh my god! Wait, never mind. Alright, in theory, he could have done some damage there. Does he choose to stay, or does he choose to leave? Micro, micro, micro! He takes the archer out! That's so good! Vinchester's looking so good right now, guys. He even keeps this scout alive. Repairing the mining camp. Wow. Man, Vinchester... I said this after round 1. He's playing better than I have seen him in a long time. Vinch is really playing well. And he'll be in Castle Age soon, too. Like, incredible micro. He was always known for this. And he's always been one to pick weird civilizations, too. He would pick Goths all the time, and no other pro would agree with that. But look at this micro. Now, even using the scout to get some extra hits, how has he survived this? This is truly incredible. Land needs to wall heavily. Land needs to wall heavily, and he's actually committing to stone walls now. Okay, what's the micro like? Land, you have an opportunity right now. Vinchester has fletching. You're about to get fletching. There's still no... Again, the micro from Vinchester is nuts. This is sick. That's a 2 HP scout right there. He picks off the archer, he weakens the skirm, he loses the scout. That was inevitable. And now he goes for a town center here. This is a man with confidence. But why not place a town center here? There's really no reason not to. Unless the man-at-arms worry you, but he'll fight with his villagers. I really think he should have pulled the villagers to fight. There's plenty of reason to not do this, actually, because the skirmishers are here. But yeah, pull the villagers, fight a little bit. Micro, micro, micro. He's lost a vill. He'll lose 2. Oh my goodness. He needs to keep each and every crossbow alive. This is so risky. He'll lose another villager. These villagers are weak too. Land could deny it. Vinchester, he quick walls. This is too much micro to have to do here. I really felt like if he pulled those 5 vills instead of building the TC and just fought the skirms and kept his crossbow numbers up, he could be okay. But now, the town center's denied. It's a doubt TC. Easy for me to say, of course. And guys, he's still going to be okay if he can get a knight out. But he doesn't have the gold to make a knight. He's making a market so he can sell wood. And Lan is just delaying. He's walling. He has so much of his map secured with walls. No risk of a real counterattack coming in. Once that market's completed, you'll see that wood sold so he can make a knight. Okay, the town center's up. The town center's up. But now the question is, yes, Lan killed villagers, but Lan is not on 2 TCs. He's still in feudal age. So is Lan going to be safe? That's the first question. And is he going to be behind in eco or ahead in eco when he eventually gets to castle age? And I can only assume that you're probably going to see plumes from Lan, and there's still the factor of Vinchester having to clean this up. So it's not too great for Vinch right now, and there's no great way for him to counter now that the walls are going to be up. But how many people think that this is going to be a 6 set? After the start of this game, we've had the Drush, the Man-at-Arms, we've had the Sneak Vill, the Tower, the amazing Micro. Now, you guys might not admit this, but if this was the main event and Vinchester's name was what? There's a hole. Imagine if Vinch had a knight. Imagine if Vinch had a knight. I don't know if he can get... Can he get there in time? I think Lan will be fine. I think so. But you know, like, Vinch, he's not gonna boom. He's gonna look at these units. This is totally Vinch. He is going to run around and around with this crossbow. What I was just about to say is, if this was the main event, I'm fairly certain that everyone would have said Viper after that micro from Vinch with the scout. Fairly certain that everyone chat would have said Viper. That's what makes it fun. Yeah, run around, harass, distract, annoy, and I guess the crossbow does end up going down, so not Viper confirmed. The knight couldn't make it in. But guys, look at the vill count. It will be 41 apiece. Siege Workshop for Vinch, so he'll probably go for a ram and try and take that tower down. Keep in mind that Lan has all of his eco upgrades, and he's been untouched, and he'll have a lot of numbers. So I still feel like Lan's position is going to be better. But it's a very close game. Lan opts for the town center first. I like that move. I think you've committed to 2 range archers here. Going for a lead skirm and going for crossbow is probably way better than waiting for the stone for a castle and delaying your town centers. And I think now we'll need to see Lan micro. Because there's no way that Vinchester can really take this fight comfortably once these are elite skirm and crossbow. We know Vinchester has good micro, but he's going to need a Maganel, I think. Where'd that villager go? Oh, she's over here. Oh, the laming. Lan will further wall in these golds. And the knight is on the way to kill her, and Lan will wall her in. I love it. And now Lan is sending his crossbows and his skirmishers. I thought he had clicked elite skirm, I guess not. He's sending them this direction, and he actually kills the villager and attacks the house, so at least now Vinchester knows what's up. Vinchester has a slightville lead. Nothing crazy, but a slightville lead. And you know what's funny? We have what? 10 houses here? That's 50 population space. He could end up getting housed if the Rams continue to take down those houses and he doesn't pay attention to that. I did that the other day. I built all these forward houses after I forwarded someone, and then as my opponent pushed me back, I kept building houses at home, and I'm like, why am I pop capped? And he just kept destroying them at the same rate I built them. It was really frustrating. Well, so far Land hasn't seen a whole lot that says don't run in and don't engage. Doesn't have elite skirm, just crossbow. Okay, now he sees the scorpions. The scorpions are attacking the houses. That would be a reason to leave. But in his position, he's able to do damage to Vinchester. Vinchester's not able to do damage to him. So he figures, even if I lose my army, I'm still safe. Vinchester micros, Land micros, and I think Land will try and get some value and get out of here. Fighting against this when it's Vinchester is going to be tough. Yeah, Vinchester didn't lose the crossbows. He brings these crossbows to the hill? Yes. If Land loses his military, it's not the end of the world. But you're giving a player like Vinchester a lot of military control. Beautiful micro from Vinchester. This guy is on form. He came to play. What a close game, and what a series this is going to be. Did that Vil survive, by the way? No, I think she died. And everything that Land had there died. So, Antagonist, he does have more archers. He's continued to produce. So, the crossbow numbers will actually have more. And he still has Mayan Eco, which I think is better than Ethiopians, right? Ethiopians have the power spike, they have the faster firing. Oh, wait. She's still alive. They have the faster firing archers. Everything seems very comfortable for Land. And he will take care of that knight. No problem. So now Vinch, who he didn't really know where his opponent was going to show up. He has to deal with this. And Land has a lot of crossbows on the hill. Land could take out the scorpions now. Yep, there you go. Beautiful splits. Yeah, this is Maganella territory, and even then, at this level, very difficult to fight uphill with the Maganella. A bit of a counter for Vinch. He can't break through, though. He's not accomplishing anything there, and I think Land will be happy because he has the hill. 3 town centers, lots of farms, lots of food, and lots of gold being saved for him. And also stone, so I think everything's going according to plan for Land. Vinchester, he's had to produce a lot more in Castle H, hasn't he? I do see he's on stone. I think the plan for Vinch is probably to castle here or castle here. I wouldn't like a castle here. Normally that hill looks like a great spot for a castle to protect the gold. But if you do that, then Land can just castle within his walls. You can't stop it, and then he'll treb you down if he's an imp faster. Oh, wait a second. Oh, wait a second. Land is going to imp faster, and he wants to castle there. Oh my god. So Vinch is placing the correct castle, but Land will imp faster, and Land will have the correct castle to counter that castle. That's beautiful. Well, castle made a whole lot of sense until I saw this. You still need a castle. You still need room to breathe if you're Vinch. But guys, Vinch has not clicked up at all. He only has 300 food. He's pumping out Vils out of all of his TCs. Will he know about that castle? If he knows about that castle, he has to start thinking about other plans. Oh, he wants to stonewall there. Oh no. He wants to stonewall. I also like the fact, and now he notices, I also like the fact that Land is going to switch into Eagle here. Because if you take the castle out of the equation, then the Ethiopian player can't make Showtail warriors. If they can't make Showtails, Ethiopians don't really have a counter to mine Eagles. I think Ethiopians only get two-handed swordsmen, but even if they got champion with full upgrades, Even if they got champion with 5,000 attack with every hit, champions are still way slower than eagles. That castle's going down regardless. What you need to do in this situation if you're Vinch, because you are going to gain the build lead, you need to get relics, you need to expand, and you almost need to fall back. And obviously go imp yourself, but hope that that eco kicks in, and you can hold against whatever they send your way. But this is what Mayans do. This is the bread and butter for Mayans. There's a reason that Lan did not pick Ethiopians. And there's a reason that he picked Mayans when Mayans was available. Still available for Vinchester, and Vinchester will be more than capable, I'm sure. Uh-oh. 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 Lan. Oh, he sees the castle. This would be the way for Vinchester to hold on. Another castle in another area. I think this would be a doubt castle. Vinchester has to bail. This is so bad for Vinch. It was such a good start for him, but Lan was able to secure his base. He's the perfect castle. And what's also interesting is he's making the eagle switch behind it too. So he's denied the Shotel Warriors again. What do you guys think about the doubt emote, by the way? It's all doubt emotes. You're like, well, it's doubt. It's pretty much what you would expect. It's like good and bad at the same time. We will have emotes for player personalities to guess throughout the main event. But doubt, since he's playing in the qualifier, I felt like it was a good move to add that. Well, you know what? It'll take some time to finish this castle. But this castle's up for Vinch. He will be in the Imperial Age soon. Vinchester only has one relic. Oh man, Lan is everywhere. Lan is finding all of the spots. The fact that he knew to scout the corners and that Vinchester would expand over the last 5 minutes is huge. Because he denies this castle. This might be an out-and-out doubt castle. He takes villagers off of gold. There's a monk over here running around with a relic. He might find that. I also love how he's buying time for himself by running away from the scorpions. And he'll just send the eagles right over, and the eagles will mop it up. The eagles will also go into raid. They have full armor now. At Vinchester, he does have Shotels. I'm really curious to see how regular Shotels, non-elite Shotels, will hold against this. The worry is, you need castles to produce them, and then it's so easy for Lan to go archers to counter the Shotels. These eagles are so speedy. Villagers are already dying. They're dying on the left. The castle's still denied on the right, on that all-important hill. Now, it would be just like Vinchester to somehow hold here. It'd be just like him to hold, but he can only win this game if he also expands. And it looks like, to me, the Spaniard is slowly controlling this game, slowing down the game, or at least he is in the position to dictate all the fights. And he also is aware that we'll probably see only Shotels for Vinch, so he could just make plumes. He's making another castle, and he's getting plumed archer upgrades. This is perfect for Lan. The only bad thing is that he doesn't have relics. That's the only bad thing. But as good as Vinchester has done to get the relics, he's lost the rest of his map, and there's 2 giant gold piles on this hill. We started off the game talking about this hill. Wow. I don't see how Lan can lose it now. Someone in all caps. Stop rooting for Vinch. Your bias is ridiculous. What are you talking about? Man, you have no idea. I love Vinchester. I love Lan as well. I have no idea how annoying it is as a caster to literally just cast the game and try and talk about what's happening and find positives in bad situations for all players, and then have someone be like, oh, your bias is ridiculous. I'm sorry. Maybe 3 years ago, I would have just been like, okay, I'll try and do better, but now that we have so many people here, I'm going to call you out a bit. But this is GG, man. Lan, he didn't deserve this victory. He did not play good enough. He didn't wall. He didn't get the right units out here. This also isn't free entertainment, by the way. Sick play from Lan. Way to hold on. The most impressive thing for me, though, was the macro behind it. The macro behind it is what did it. Because he is still able to have the faster imp. while being to Castle Age later. And also, the expansion here was huge. Vinch's only chance is if he gets a castle up on this hill that was denied, gets this extra gold, gets the relics, and then pushes back with more villagers. At this point, that advantage is lost. Seriously sick stuff. But no, it's actually, like, sometimes it's comical. Like, obviously, I don't want people to not voice their opinions and their concerns. That's cool. But sometimes you have to give me the benefit of the doubt. I'm just casting a game here. Benefit of the doubts. My favorite part about me being a biased caster is how in the same video, I'll have people say that I'm a Viper fanboy, and I'll have other people say that I am biased against Viper in the same video. So maybe I was a bit biased for LAN, maybe I was a bit biased for Vinchester, I don't know. Maybe I was all over the place, but GG, LAN wins. Now I have to ask, now that Ethiopians lost game 1 when most pros would probably go for Mayans or maybe Chinese, does Vinchester have a plan for Mayans later on? He's the only player in this qualifier who would do that, I think. He's the only player who would choose Ethiopians in game 1. And I can see how it could work. If we were to play this 10 times, Ethiopians could definitely win 5. But, you know, what it all comes back to for me was the TC. I thought there that Vinchester was going to be able to hold that. He lost 5 villagers. If he had those 5 villagers alive, if the town center was up a bit faster, I think he would have been able to extend an eco lead over Vinchester and just, over LAN, and it just didn't happen. But this is going to be such a sick series. Look at this. Vinchester had more food, wood, stone collected. He just didn't have the gold. This whole best of 7 is going the distance, guys. But just imagine if Vinchester got that 1 castle up. He would have secured the gold pile. He had 3 relics. Imagine if LAN wouldn't have hit that 3-tile gold on the right side. I mean, that could have easily swung back into Vinchester's control. That was so close. T90, is a plan for Mayans later worth risking giving Antagonist momentum by losing game 1, though? Yeah, that's my question, man. I don't know. Most pros are going to play very safe and conservative. Vinchester is Vinchester, though. I don't know what he has planned. But what I can tell you is he has Cross available as one of his home maps. We could see that. We could see Gold Rush. That's another home map that he picked. And then also at the very end of the list there, we have Hideouts. Maybe he wanted Mayans for Hideout, actually. Mayans on Hideout could be pretty decent. I feel like if you have Mayans open, it's not necessarily weaker than using on Arabia, though it very much depends. Alright guys, we'll hop in just 1 second here. Sorry if I got a bit aggressive about the whole bias thing. It's just so annoying. When I'm putting in my time, my energy, I've organized this whole event. I've given players an opportunity to compete for tons of money and also tons of exposure, and then there's like someone who gets so opinionated. And maybe he was trolling, and maybe he just wanted to troll around in chat, but got to me a little bit there. Oogly Boogly with a bunch of X's. Thank you for supporting the stream, man. Thank you for the new sub. Tomas, thank you for a whole year. He says, T90, you've been biased in every single cast since I've started following you, and I still love you. Thank you. He also didn't say that. Simple Pleb. Well, you're not a pleb anymore, man. Thank you for the 4 months. Thank you, Frang, for 23. He's pumped for Hidden Cup. Eshen, thank you. Captain, welcome back. Thorben. Red, Q-Tax. Sorry, I didn't call the non-subs plebs. Fluffiest Bunny, Real. Shashlike, Saku. Alright, guys. Let's go. Matt, what did you say, by the way? I missed what you said. Chat's moving too fast right now. Game number 1 was a treat. We now have game number 2 between LAN and Vinchester. Remember, whoever wins this best of 7 will be playing in a Hidden Cup for the very first time. LAN and Vinchester were not in Hidden Cup 1 or 2. We have new blood in the community. We have new people to perform, play to the best of their ability, and give us some entertainment. I think also in Hidden Cup, it's going to be fun because there's new names to try and guess. Vinchester, if he makes it in, he's probably one of the micro nerds. He might look a little bit more like Leary in some cases. A little bit more like Viper in some cases. Lan very much reminds me of Fire and Dogao with the way he plays. Maybe even Doubt in some ways because he tends to play very safe. Lan has gone for Japanese, and Lan tends to choose Japanese over Persians if he has the option. And Vinchester has gone for Persians. So yes, Vinchester, he goes for some funky picks sometimes, but I think Persians, Japanese, probably the top 2 cross civs, and they were available, so he went for the pick. So you have a pond in the north, south, east, and west. The difference with the Hidden Cup 3 cross is that there's a relic in each corner as well. And then there's this rock church, which doesn't do anything except give you a small amount of vision and protect that relic in the center. This rock church, it's very weird, and I don't think it was intended to be added in. We might remove this, so let us know what you think. It doesn't really affect the game much. But yeah, 5 relics still, which is standard for Age 2 maps. It's just that 4 of them are in the corners. T90, will the recorded games, will the recs of these games be open for download after the event? They should be. I mean, they're actually available to download after the cast, Dr. Slow. I mean, you could get them now if you get into the casters Discord. We're using an old patch, so you'd have to have that available. And you'd have to be within the casters group to get that. Nice to see you. Dr. Slow was around 3 years ago. That's Doubt his church. That's Doubt his church. Is it? Might be. Like, the only thing that bothers me about this being here, the line of sight doesn't bother me. Because if you don't have units there to control it, it just goes right back to the other player. But what bothers me is that you could use it as part of a wall. So, I guess Lan now knows, if he's paying close attention, that Vinchester scouted it. But let's talk about the difference between the civs on this map. They're both very flexible. Persians have the faster working town centers. They have more wood. They have more food at the start. So they can dock a bit earlier. But Japanese, they have cheap lumber camps and cheap mills. That adds up. And then their fishing ships are armored. And I feel like Persians would normally fight for water with the fish boom, use that food to make knights, and then Japanese have monks, and Japanese have pikemen. So I feel like it's a very even civ matchup. Now there's a way that Lan... Oh, hold on. Lan is attacking that villager. Surprised Vinchester isn't... Oh! Okay, never mind. He's able to do some damage there. But the way Lan tends to play, I've seen him play cross about 3 or 4 times. He likes to wall heavily, and then he likes to go forward. He likes to have monasteries out. He likes to go pike, siege, monk. And maybe if he gets a forward position here, he could pressure these golds. T9, do you think Viper will still dominate Hidden Cup 3? Well, you'd have to be a fool to say that Viper isn't favorite. But I honestly feel like over the past couple years, with each and every event we do, Viper gets closer and closer and closer to being dethroned. And there's... Hera's in better form now than... Hera is in better form now than he's ever been. Leary is in better form now than he was last year, for sure. MBL's still MBL. Keep in mind, MBL was in the finals of Hidden Cup 1 against Viper. And then he was in the semifinals against Viper in Hidden Cup 2. Yo is still Yo. Tato is incredibly creative and very good in Hidden Cup formats. Honestly, this is probably bad for me to say, like, to jump the gun here. Because Nikov has to play Stark. Yet, right? He's still in the qualifier. But Nikov has been training his ass off, and it wouldn't surprise me if Nikov is, like, does really well in the main event, if he gets past Stark. So, the point is, I think Viper's favorite, but he's showing more cracks in the armor. And there's more competition. So, we'll see. Dominate, like, you can't even use the word dominate for Viper's performance in Hidden Cups, though. Like, he won 4-2 Hidden Cup 1, and then he won 4-3 Hidden Cup 2. So he wins, and you could say the same for like, NAC. He tends to just take an extra game or two in a best of 7 or best of 9, so... It's always been that way. There's always been players to compete, but Viper was still coming out on top. T90, did you originally start the Hidden Cup tournament? Yes, I did, Storm Rage. Yes, I did. there's no seeding in Hidden Cup. So the last round, if you're looking at that bracket and it's confusing you, it doesn't matter at all. That's the other thing. So for me to say, let's say I made the prediction that MBL was going to beat Viper 4-0 in the finals. They might meet in round 1. So it's hard to say. Like, with hidden seeding, you don't know who you're facing. And I actually think that makes Viper weaker. I think that the fact that Viper can't think about strategies, the fact that he doesn't know who he's facing up against, he can't analyze their weaknesses and try and play against it. I think that it suits some players, and it also hurts others. Like, who's one player in Hidden Cup 2 that benefited hugely from the fact that players didn't know who he was? Max. Like, Max in a tournament where you know who he is, you know he's going to try and do something wacky, you know he'll sneak villagers, you know that you know the way he plays. But if you go into it, and you don't know who you're playing against, you might not pick up on the fact that they do some weird things until the second or third game. So anyways, that's my spiel on that. That's pretty much how I feel. Hope that makes sense. Now, Vinchester has docked the left side. He docked nice and early. And he also has scouts. He's gone for a stable and he's patrolling the right side. This is how LAN likes to play. Most other players, they'll go for Persians. They'll dock all 3 pawns and try and diversify. But what LAN likes to do is he likes to use 1 pawn, and he likes to make a small land push, for lack of a better word, towards the center. I don't know, every other time I see someone in LAN's position go for 1 pawn, if they can't be aggressive enough, eventually the fish boom that the opponent has is too strong and they end up dying, so he needs to get across quickly here. T90 is the finals best of 9 or best of 7. I'm not going to talk about the main event yet, because, I mean, I know, but a lot of that stuff is going to be discussed after the qualifiers. Sorry. You'll have to be there. Best of 21 confirmed. Best of 21 confirmed. Now, I have the opinion that more games does not equal better series. I feel like anything past, like, best of 9 is still extreme. Anything past that is just overkill. I'm sure, like, my stream would stay on longer. I might get a few more viewers, but I don't think it necessarily shows you who the best person was on the day. Unless you're talking classic Jordan versus Viper best of 101, which went, it was like down to the final game or something ridiculous. Those classic sets or something else. So what hurts Vinchester here is he can't take his berries. But he does have fishing ships. And he also has his scouts on patrol. I don't think Vinchester will have many complaints about this. And he built the range. So he's prepping skirms. And so LAN's archers, I don't see them accomplishing too much. But what you could do in LAN's position, let's say you get to Castle Age faster, is you could go Siege Workshop. This is almost inviting a Siege Workshop. And that would push the skirms and that would possibly push Persians. We'll see what those Castle Age times are like. T90 at Hidden Cup 2, some players were identified by other players because of ping. Is this still possible? Well, that's actually not exactly true. They just had an educated guess. So what that means is, let's say Viper. Viper, he knew that it was probably a Chinese or a South American player based on the fact that there was more lag. But he didn't know exactly who it was. That said, DE changes that massively. This is sloppy from Vinchester, but with DE, I spoke to pros about it already. It pretty much feels like you can't tell. It doesn't work the same. It's not peer-to-peer anymore. So I think it'll be much more difficult for pros to guess who they're playing against. And what I'm doing for Hidden Cup 3 is after the players finish their rounds, they have to tell the admin who they thought they were playing out of the 16 players. And then we're going to look at the data and see how accurate they were. That is such a Vinchester outpost. Like, you see your opponent has a wall there. And so you still want to build an outpost. That's unique. Oh, but it's a bait. Okay, so LAN sending a vill to dock over here. LAN didn't realize that was a weak scout. Oh, will she die? Will she die? She's been trapped. That's huge. And actually, the skirmishers are on the way. The archers had to be protected. And that villager will stay alive. Okay, so that was a 200 IQ outpost from Vinchester. And Vinchester will be in Castle Age faster. This is looking so good for Vinch right now. I'd say the only thing is he's a bit light on the docks. Like, he could dock over here, but he's in a great position right now. T90, will there be guessing competitions again? Yep, we'll have guessing competitions. We're gonna have... Right now I have 2 confirmed viewing parties in Europe. I hope I will have 1 confirmed in the US as of next weekend. All the European viewing party stuff, for those that might be interested, that information is going to be out this weekend. Now, this here is actually really sloppy for Vinchester, because what LAN is doing is going full archer. You need to have skirmishers alive, and this plays right into the strength of LAN. LAN added a scout from that stable. He'll trade versus all of those skirmishers. I don't think that was worth it, and suddenly this gets very dangerous. If you had knights in elite skirm, maybe you're okay. No, Vinchester, you can't take this fight. You can't take this fight. This is an awful fight for Vinch again. There's certain players out there, even players in the top 5, who they like to fight, they like to engage, and they'll get themselves in trouble by losing low numbers of units. Oh god, what is that town center? What is that town center? He's gonna distract with the knight. He's throwing the knight away so he can get the town center up. Oh, and he can't get it up either, Vinchester, no! The skirm plan was alright. Why build your second TC there? Why? All of the villagers are going down now. This is exactly what LAN would have wanted. Pretty soon we'll probably see a monastery. It would be just like LAN to build a monastery, to convert some knights. The crazy thing is, Vinchester still has the villager lead. So that's including the fishing ships. And he does have that dock up on the right. He also has a Mangonel here. He also has armor on the knights. But only 3 knights and only 1 Mangonel is... It's going to make life difficult. That's for sure. Nice pick off. Okay, you have a Scorpion, a Mangonel, and a few knights. It's maybe a bit iffy. You could add your own knight if you're in Vinchester's, if you're in LAN's shoes. Beautiful micro. He fires a few times, he sends in the scout, he sends in the knight, he splits, and to say goodbye siege. Beautiful play. Well done. Well done, my friend. The difference right now between them is eco and military momentum. There's more eco momentum for Vinchester because of the fishing ships, but there's more military momentum for LAN. LAN's actually going to a 3rd town center as well. This isn't bad. Can he break through here, possibly? He has such a large number of crossbows. I mean, if he loses the crossbows, he's way behind. But if he uses the crossbows, he could be way ahead. The gold is right behind that house. I called him my friend. Bias confirmed. Oh, man. T90, how much did Microsoft contribute to the prize pool of Hidden Cup? Specifically, the prize pool, 35,000, and then 15,000 towards cost of everything we're gonna do. So total contribution from Microsoft was 50k. The total prize pool, we have like myself contributing. I will donate $1 for every Twitch sub. We have a variety of other things. I don't want to. This is becoming a bit of a Q&A session here when it's a very close game, so I'm not going to get into it during a game. But the total prize pool's at, I think the exact number is like just over 50k right now. Did they want you to move to Mixer? The Age of Empires section of Microsoft very much did not want me to move to Mixer. The guys who work for Mixer wanted me to move to Mixer. The Age of Empires people, they want more people to watch the game. Just because Mixer is Microsoft doesn't mean that the Age of Empires team doesn't realize how awesome Twitch is, so. Man, I'm just waiting for a few Mangonels. Like 2 or 3. I feel like you can go 2 or 3 here, but then again, it's risky because, well, then there's knights out here for Lan. It was a great idea for Lan to add his own knights. Vinchester likes his outposts. He likes his outposts. MBL confirmed. But this is a worry. His siege is exposed. Oh, but he runs in this way. And I had some deja vu there from the Kasva and Dogal set. Just for a moment. Vinch wanted to run through, and it was denied. 89 eco for Vinchester. But guys, what's the big difference? The big difference is that you have melee and range combo at the moment for Lan. So he has crossbows and knights and pikemen. It's a good combo. Vinchester doesn't really have that, but what Vinchester is going to do... Well, first off, he has enough stone for a castle. I think that's why he wanted that TC. So he might castle there. Is he going to Maganel push this area? Lan doesn't see it. And if you're wondering if Lan can see that terrain change, that's a spectating thing, so he can't actually see that. He sends the knights in. Vinch will notice it. Still no castle. This is going to be a forward castle, isn't it? I don't think Lan has any clue either. If he send more vills... Okay, Lan just looked. Did you see that? Lan just looked. He sees the siege workshops now. That was such good stuff from him. And he also sees a lot of vills, so he must know this is going to be a castle. Oh my god! Oh, we never see the emote used. I think the T90 OMG emote is the least used emote on my channel, but get ready to use it! Both castles are going up here. Lan, I believe, purchased that castle. And now it's all about who imps faster. And there's no gold for Vinch. He doesn't have the gold to go up. But can he fight up the hill against Japanese infantry? Against pikes? What is good about this is he will take Lan off of that gold there. But if you think about it, he hasn't really been taking his golds because of the pressure. Like this gold here, he hasn't been taking. Oh, there's a hole! There's a hole! Vinchester, quick wallet! Quick wallet! Oh, that's such good play because he doesn't need the knights anymore. Oh my god, those knights could do so much damage. And they're both on the way to the Imperial Age. This is insanity. This is Lan sanity here. But Vinch just now reacted. He expected everything that Lan sent his way. He did not expect that. But wait a second. Where is Lan sending his pikemen and crossbows? They're in the center of the map. And Vinchester could send his knights in. He could send his rams in. This could be a huge base trade. It's risky, but I say you go for it. Because you're already behind because of this. I say you go for it. You don't see the army? Go on in. Go on in, my friends. Have at it. Alright. Well, isn't this something? It's not so easy for Lan to take care of this ram either. He has to create a Maganel for that, which he's done. Okay, I think you need to get out of here now with the knights. I think you... Like I said, it's risky. But if you lose this army, that's bad. I think... Okay, this is perfect from Lan. If he walls here and keeps the knights from running... This is perfect. Can he trap the army? Can Lan trap the army? No, he can't. They'll still run around. There's still a lot of pikemen out here. Okay, the mango will be taken out. A lot of knights died, though. I don't know if it was worth it. Maybe it was part of the plan for Vinch, though. This scout, which is on 4 HP, is killing villagers. That's how crazy things just got. Maybe it was part of the plan for Vinch. Maybe Vinch wants to go for something else. But guys, no, he's going for Cavalier. Again, I said it. Persians might take all the pawns, but Japanese are in... Like, they're great civilization to counter the Persians. Like, if you go... Let's say you go for the crossbows. I know you guys love the trash bows. Well, the Japanese have arbalest. So they counter that. They have the skirm, so they counter that. If you go for elephants, they have monks. Knights, they have monks. You know, you have the halberdiers as well, the pointy boys, which are doing so well. I think, and hindsight is always 20/20, I think the better play for Vinch, instead of castling there, is castling here. If you would have castled this hill, and just maybe siege pressured here. Siege pressure here, and then defend your gold at home. Then this goes to late game, and then it's about mobility because you can... The player bases are spread apart. And then the fact that you have better stable units matters. If you go forward like this, it slows the game down, which suits the composition of Japanese, I think. But again, so easy to say. Typical caster thing to be able to see. Like, we can see what went wrong. And, oh boy. Oh, wait! He just lost the stone! He just lost the stone! Oh my god! You're kidding me! Land just lost 650 stone. He was going to build a castle there. And then the Cavalier took out the foundation when he bailed on it. And now Vinchester's making a castle. So he will secure that gold. Oh my god, that's huge! That is such a big mistake. He's still so far ahead. He still has 67 military that I don't think Persians can kill easily, but... Oof. Must have been the block priority, you know? It's because Vinchester's player won. That must be it. Elite skirm's on the way. It's pretty much all you can do. But you need armor on the skirms. These skirms are so weak right now. The thing is with skirms, you need attack, and then you also need the armor for the high pierce. You're looking at arbs with full upgrades. You're looking at pikes, which are on their way to full upgrades, and this is just... Imagine if land takes the water now, with a few docks. It's over then. It's over. I mean, if it's not over already, this is ridiculous. I'm not seeing any military from Vinchester that can stop this. Oh, it was such a close game. These are the games that decide best of sevens, right here. The ones that are really close. Game 1 was close too, but I mean, if the players are this evenly matched, if you're able to get a win like this and go 2-0 up, puts you in such a great position long term if you're land. Because you have to expect Vinch is going to get some wins. And this is pretty much, and there's the beautiful pointy boys. The Japanese pointy boys, look at them go. But this is pretty much what has plagued Vinchester his whole career as well. Where he gets really close to beating everyone in the top 20. And then he just can't finish off in a series. So a bit of Vinch Davu here. Or Deja Vinchester, I guess. Japanese are so strong. What's interesting is most pros would pick Persians. I think Japanese, if played this way, land has shown you they can work really well. 63 military versus 11. At this point, if land just had trebs, here they come. He could start to actually finish off Vinchester. Vinchester's just making skirms. Look at the villagers dying to halbs on the right side. It's desperation mode for the Russian. If land wouldn't have lost that castle, he would have probably built it over here and had these trebs a bit earlier. But he'll be able to laugh about that one. It's looking so good for land. Yep, and there's the castle. I think it will be 2-0 for land here. 165 pop. Now, I'm not being biased. I'm just casting the game. Alright? Vinchester fans. Just talking about the death and destruction we're seeing here. 160 pop versus 120. The pop hasn't changed for Vinch. He has no answer to the trebs. He's out of stone now. Wow. Yeah, you could take this gold maybe, but he's still shooting towards... If you go full skirm, Japanese have light cav. They could go light cav. They could go samurai. And the game is over. It all came down to the castle. It could go either way. It was a gamble to send in the knights. Here's what I think is the better play, though. Because let's think about the different ways that could have gone down. If he goes with the forward castle, and he doesn't send the knights in, the reality is the Treb War is close. He doesn't take out Land's castle immediately, like he was trying to do with the Rams. But he still has Cavalier, a lot of them, but he still would have Cavalier against Hal. What you could do, if you don't dive in against this TC, is you could spread them out and you could try and raid. So, you know, maybe you build the forward castle and then you try and raid. But my concern with that is if you build that forward castle and you're not planning on fighting beneath the castle, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Isn't it better to go forward Mangonels? He had knights, Mangonels. That was working. Go for that. Castle this hill. Secure that gold. And then look towards a castle here. And then you just set up shop. Like, if you look at the top 8, the top 8 players who are already in the main event, I think what they do in Vinchester's shoes is they basically accept the fact that they have more of the map and they try and hold it. Because remember, he had the pawns. Land was in this itty-bitty corner. So instead of castling there, I think that castle actually gave Land an opportunity back into the game. I think you castle this hill. Obviously stay on stone, castle this hill, and then you go towards Trashbow, Skirm, Cavalier, and then you raid. He even had a stable over here for a while. So if things went better for him, I think he can maybe push from the sides. But he went too aggressive in that moment. But it was hard to say. I said it myself. I said, I think you run in here because he saw Land was on the way to his base. So, I mean, it's so tough. It comes down to just a few moments in a game. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. So Vinchester had more food, not a lot more, but he had more food. The wood was close, the stone was close, the gold was close. What a ridiculously close game. And then you're just comparing the cost of units and what type of units you're making and the time you use them. And I think it was better for Land. I can never find this stat. There you go. Nice. Nice. Beautiful. That was the difference. It's so much cheaper to go ARB and help, but it's also very slow. And I think Vinchester should have used the sides of the map more instead of slowing it down for Land. Okay. So a lot of us felt like this would go to 7 games. If this is going to 7 games, Vinchester needs a response now. Because if you're evenly matched and you go down 3-0, newsflash, you're not evenly matched and you're going to have a rough time coming back. Now, the way that this is structured is pretty simple. The next map will be another home map for Vinch. So Vinchester is going to choose Gold Rush, which is another one of his home maps. And then after that game, we will have at least one more, even if Land wins. It will be on Slopes. So the order of the maps there is a bit confusing, but the ones that do not have the player names underneath them are set maps in that order. Okay, so Slopes will be game 4. I love me some Gold Rush, though. Fallful, he says, with 22 months, he says, this just popped up here, so here you go, kid. Thanks for the month. Hey, you're welcome. Calcun, T-Bisque, Jones, Katamic, Picarde, thank you guys. Alright, I'm just gonna hop in. By the way, whoever is Brojek Pelgium, whoever that Smurf is in the chat, that's hilarious. I don't know who that is, but I saw it the other day, and it's probably one of my favorite accounts I've seen in a while. So, game number 3 between Lan and Vinchester. How's the map look? Oh, it looks fine. It looks fine. Yeah, it's still awkward. It's still Gold Rush. It makes for very aggressive games. But I hate the latter version of Gold Rush because there's too many times where one player has a perfect map. Like Land's base here. Land's base is fantastic, especially as Britons. He can wall this one up and go crazy, but the gold for Vinchester is still fine. This gold's a little bit exposed, but we could see a TC there. I just hated when one player would have all the gold and the other player would have none of it. Is anyone else... I see the actual Project Belgium in the chat. Is anyone else a little bit confused by the civ choices from Vinchester? Oh, he's coming forward to lane right now. I know sheep for Lan. But game 1, he went for Ethiopians. And I was thinking, alright, well, he's obviously saving Mayans, or he's saving Chinese. So far, he's gone Ethiopians, Persians, which was normal on that map, and now Huns. And Huns are not bad, but are they the map you want to use here when you have others available? This is the beauty in not restricting player picks. This is the beauty in not doing a draft, guys. Because if Vinchester makes it in the main event, and we see people picking civs in situations where others might not, it's a good guess it might be Winchester. And it's also really important because each player has certain preferences, each player has certain styles, so just Winchester is so different from many of the other pros out there. Now, best civs to counter Britons, it's tough. If land gets to a lot of crossbows, it can be extremely dangerous and hard to push. But I feel like Slavs can be good. I know Khmer was globally banned. Slavs have a shot. Huns certainly have a shot. I think the best play for Huns is to turn this into a whole lot of knights and rams, actually, in the Castle Age. But we'll talk more about that when we get closer. T90, you should make all the players in this tournament VIP so we can easily see who's watching the stream. Bam Bam, that's a great idea if Project Belgium wasn't the biggest Twitch troll of all time. Maybe not all time. But when Project Belgium is not competing in the qualifier, he's also a huge chat troll, so I don't know if I'd want to give him VIP powers. I feel like more players would train for tournaments just so they could get VIP. But now he's out there. He's one of the few with a purple badge, so... Not only is he a troll, but he's a dedicated supporter of the stream. Oh, he's weakening the board with the TC. Don't pull Huang. Oh, okay, that was so close. That was so close. Man, I have PTSD after the Huang Doubt series. See, that's how people used to do it. MBL says, I mean, I'm mod. What's the worst that can happen? Yeah, MBL's mod. MBL's not... Let's put it this way. He's not a good mod because he does stuff. He's a good mod because he doesn't misbehave. So he does absolutely nothing, but he also... That's good, right? Because I've had mods that do too much. Let's put it that way. We love you, MBL. But anyways, that's how you used to do it. You just weaken the board with the TC, finish it off with the villager. What's the plan here for land? Is he going Drush? I also know MBL's a huge fan of Gold Rush. So watching MBL's stream, now he gets more animated when it's 3 AM for him. And so it was 3 AM for him at the time. And he got Gold Rush in a ranked game and he's like, ugh, I hate Gold Rush. And I said, alright. And he's like, why Gold Rush? Why not Golden Pit? Everyone likes Golden Pit, right? And so I said, alright MBL. Well, we made 4 or 5 changes to the Hidden Cup 3 Gold Rush. Have you checked it out? And he's like, no, I haven't looked. All Gold Rush is Gold Rush. Complaining and he didn't look at the new version of the map. What's funny, though, is that MBL is extremely good on Gold Rush. Like, he was, at least in Hidden Cup 2. MBL, bring Slavs back for me, okay? Oh, also, MBL, while you're here, you and like, what we're going to try and do is bring back the whole Outpost Rush meme. So I hope that, like, Leary's listening right now, and Leary starts to outpost rush someone. Why is it so hard to say? In the main event, and it debates us, and we think it's MBL. There was a game that Doubt and MBL played that was like 3 hours, and they both outpost, why is that so hard to say? Outpost rushed each other multiple times. And I was going to cast it, but then I decided I'd rather spend those 3 hours working on other things. And also the game updated, so thanks to E. What is Vinch doing here? Looks like scouts. And we don't see anything from land. This is just going to be a straight fast castle. Nice full wall. This is a dream. You could build a town center back here as well in the next stage. Britons are a little bit more map dependent than Huns, but Britons are just so good on Gold Rush. Oh, Doubt's in the chat. There you go. Doubt's in the chat as well. Nice. All the popular people are here. And Doubt. That's awesome. So you're going scouts on a map which is full wall. Normally that means tower behind. Now there's not a dozen wolves in the center anymore. There's always just one wolf in the center, and then there's a few sprinkled around. But 2 villager forward? Winchester. What is happening here? It's obvious he expected a drush as well. I feel like his scouting was bad because he quick-walled and everything after seeing the barracks. And Land just decided against making the militia. We'll see what land's resources look like. He's gone up at an early time. Considering he walled this much, he's only 26 pop. I don't think he'll have the food to click up. And also, will he see that there's a tower there? He won't. I think it's important for Vinchester to stop producing scouts soon. Keep it at 2 or 3. If he can pick off land scout, that would be huge. Now, that tower, it might not seem that important, but it's actually quite nice because there's about 150 food there. And that now land cannot take that food. Yeah, this fast castle's not so good for land. Certainly not perfect. Not as good as Doubt will do. T90, if you go straight fast castle, why build barracks? Isn't it a waste since mill/lumber camp? Okay, I couldn't see the rest. Well, he's going fast castle into crossbow. If you go blacksmith market fast castle, then you need to build the blacksmith, the market, then the barracks, then the archery range. So you actually save wood to do it this way. On Gold Rush, a map which is very much about aggression. And forward buildings from Vinchester. Okay. Vinchester, wall him in. Vinchester, wall him in, man. Wall him in over here. Stonewall him in. You can't just give up full map control and boom on a map like Gold Rush. You very much have to take maps, so you have to make some archers. It's, again, such a Vinchester thing to go 2 villager tower, forward range. Now, the problem I have with forward buildings is that now if he loses control, which is very likely, he can't really use this archery range much. You can't keep yourself defended at home, but with the amount of scouts he has here and the fact he has a skirm in there, he might get close to finishing his tower. The land still hasn't clicked up, and so Vinchester is adding tons of farms at home. That's a really weird place for a blacksmith. I would prefer he use it as part of his wall, but... Alright, he gets the tower up. Land still is 200 food away from clicking up. Guys, if this was how land wanted it to go, he would have clicked up already. We're 15 minutes into the game, he still hasn't clicked up. If this was low elo legends, I'd be very impressed. But big qualifier, winner moves on to this best of 7. This is not what land would have wanted. Now, the key always is army numbers. So as long as he keeps his archers alive, I don't think he's going to hate his life too much. But for Vinchester, I think he's delayed enough, and he just needs to get the eco. Oh! Whoa! The scout got a villager! Well, so much for having the economy. Yeah, you need to get the economy to go up to the next stage right behind him. Does he want to deny the stone? You know what? So there's 3 stones you get on Gold Rush. There's the 4 tile, the 5 tile, and the 6 tile. And the 6 tile is perfect for land. So I think Vinchester wants to deny all the stone. What do you... Dude, there's archers in the tower, Vinch! Vinch is... One game, he's the most impressive player, and then the next, he's the most frustrating player. You have all this army... You're just attacking houses. You didn't keep your villagers protected. You lost a villager to a scout at your own base, and now you lose another one. But yeah, back to the stone conversation. You see 5 tile, 4 tile, and then the 6 tiles all the way out here. So the 6 tile is definitely... normally it's a bit more exposed. Let's put it that way. But it's not going to make a difference. Because he tried to build that tower. Even if the stone didn't exist, Lane might not even know it's there. No, he does. Just should have either committed more villagers to the towers, kept his skirms in the mix, or I'm not sure. When you need to fall back to defensive towers, that's a sign that momentum is going to shift. And Lan has 9 archers that will be crossbows, will have bod... Well, I think he's just going to get fletching, actually. And then you get +1 range when you're Britain's in the Castle Age, so he'll have 7 range. And he's sneaking. Another tower from Vinch with a new villager, and Vinchester sees the archers. If he can trade versus the archers, this would be nice. Now land gets the extra range, though. So we're talking 6 range against 5 range. Should be 7 once crossbow's in. He does not have armor on the skirmisher, so Vinchester will need to have very good micro for this to work. I think I'd bring the scouts into the base. Okay. Remember, Vinchester still has not clicked up to the Castle Age. So at least he snipes a Vil. These archers are still running around. The wolves! This is where the wolves are. No longer in the center. Land's like, thank you very much. I heard there was a wolf problem. Thank you for taking care of that for me. But the thing is, Britons with their cheap town center, they can just boom behind this. And again, the tower got denied. Oh, doubt. Doubt. I think that was actually 99%. 99% tower. Oh, man. The doubt is proud. I just don't get why, if you want to go so heavy on towers, you send 2 Vils. Every other pro would send 4. And then after he denies you the first time, because your army's out of position, you send another villager to build it randomly while your army's out of position chasing crossbows. Like, Lan was the one who was the most defensive, and he somehow ended up killing, what was it, 5 Vils? 4 Vils? That's pretty crazy stuff. And now, I expect that push back, and, well, good thing Vinchester has his 2 archery ranges at his base. Oh wait, this one's forward, so this can't really even help that much. And this is a problem now for Vinchester. It's such a shame too, but it shows how clinical you have to beat someone like Lan. It shows how much Lan deserves to be in the conversation amongst the other pros. Because he's up 2 games, and here he just hasn't made many mistakes. He's playing very clean, very safe. Now, I saw some villagers for Lan. He was originally running forward. He's not going to do that. Vinchester now is getting Elite Skirmisher, and he's getting Vodkanero. But his eco is a wreck. It's an absolute wreck. And Lan just has to hold his lead now. Actually, here's some stables, so he's thinking about making knights. I don't think he really has the eco for knights right now. Only 12 farms. So that's a bit of a surprise. I feel like, ideally, he'd probably have a siege workshop in the middle. So maybe the buildings are delaying him from potentially getting into the middle. And he has to be careful here, Lan. Because there's a tower on the left, and there's also skirmishers. And one knight would more than do it, but he's kind of trapped in here. If he runs this way, Vinchester will expect him. So I think, this happened before as well. I think he's just going to pick a side and run all arounds. Is this the area to go to, though? I guess you have the hill and you're still way ahead in eco. Vinchester reacts. Lan didn't know about that tower, and now the skirms are there, waiting for the crossbows to retreat. Alright, so no villagers in the center. But still plenty of gold for Lan. Vinchester has 7 working farms, guys. Ah, man. I love Vinch so much. It just makes me sad when something's happen. It makes me sad because he has so much potential, but now there's a knight here, and it will appear to take out some skirmishers. Oh, here we go. Okay. Lan is distracted elsewhere. All of these crossbows could die. This could be Vinchester's chance to get back into it. Neat little micro. Look at this micro. Beautiful. Fighting up the hill. Lan wasn't paying attention. And here you go. Maybe with some army momentum. Maybe then Vinchester can hold on. I do fear for him, though. I think he needs to have skirms, and he also needs to have maybe some siege, maybe some cav archers. The knights do not have any upgrades yet, and there's a siege workshop. Okay, Lan, he's definitely ahead, but after losing those crossbows, which I think was a big mistake, he's not in a position where he will for sure win this anymore. I thought if he kept the crossbows alive, he'd have the eco lead, he'd have all the Britain crossbows balled up, but not so much anymore. His small groups of military split up, and he will eventually need to get to that gold. Maybe he goes to stone, and then he will castle here and then TC the center, but Vinchester, who's only on 1 town center himself, yes, he doesn't have the best economy. He is at least being very aggressive. Okay, and he's going to build his second TC with 1 villager in the center. Oh, man. Alright, that's something. Hey, qualifications. Hey, Corfell. I think that even if Lan... I wonder if he wanted to eventually bring the Knights to this corner. I guess it was very difficult for him to get there. But I feel like with a bit more micro, it might have been possible. I don't know when +2 armor came in. Maybe someone in chat knows. But if the skirmishers didn't have +2 armor, I think Lan could have maybe done more with what he had there. I said at the start, Britons, they take advantage of power spikes. So you get a big power spike with them. Where is this army going? This is like an AI army here. Auto fighting instead of auto scouting. But Britons are fantastic when they arrive to the Castle Age because of the power spike with the extra range. Same thing goes for the Imperial Age. Huns are more about the mid game, so mid feudal they can flood. Asian Prince believes in Venge. I just want a good series, man. These players are so close. I was expecting at least 6 games today, 6 or 7 games, so let's see. There's also the fact that the crossbows are being massed at home. We have some skirms as well. 3 ranges now pumping up for Lan. 3 TCs, though he did try and... His eco's spread too thin right now. He's tried to do too much, so he's not producing out of all of his town centers. Alright, he has this army in the middle. And will he notice the villagers there? He sees the villager and he sees the town center. So at least now, Vinchester will know that that's where that army is. Guys. So, where would Lan castle? I think he wants to castle, he would want to castle here or here. He does not know about the siege workshop. Oh, there's 4 scorpions! And now there's a castle with 2 villagers. Oh, we had a doubt tower. Now we might have a doubt castle, but... The economy is not great for Vinchester, but the position might not be the worst. It still worries me that he has so few farms. Still worries me that he has so few TCs. And he doesn't have his cav archers here. His cav archers need to be here. Otherwise, the knights, who do have armor, with the skirms, with the crossbows, might be enough. Doubts. Doubts. What is happening? And Vinchester wants to build his own castle? This could be the way that Lan wins the game, or this could be the way he loses the game. Oh! The scorpions! Actually, that was excellent micro from Lan. Immediate reaction? There's still a few scorpions, though. Oh, no! And these hits are getting massive! There's still skirmishers! No, Lan! I think it was a bait! It was all part of the plan. This is what Doubt does. He loses the castle on purpose to lure his opponent into a false sense of security. It's at 70%. That castle's not going up! That castle is not going up! Vinchester is still alive! You've got to be kidding me! Wait! No, it's at 80%. Sorry, it's really hard for you guys to see. Oh, he's sending more! Vinchester, stand in front! Stand in front! No way! 92? 93? 94? 95? Ah! Well then, will Vinches go up? If it... No way! Oh, the last hit from the villager gets the castle up. Now Vinch has to get his up, and Vinchester gets his up. What is this? What is happening? Lan just threw away his villager lead so he could get the castle up, and now the castles are touching butts. What? Well, just make rams. Just make rams if you're Vinchester. You have control of the gold still. Lan, he said yes after the castle went up, but his castle will just get rammed down. There's no way he can stop that. Now here I think Vinchester probably needs to get out. Keep his control. Man, like, if Lan sent more originally, it's hard for me to say. He just didn't expect the scorpions. The scorpions were clutch. The scorpions were clutch. A 90 population for Venge, 72 for Lan. What do you do now? I mean, you had an amazing map. You can still expand back here, get a relic or two, but you're not close to clicking up to Imp. Neither is Vinch, really, and Vinch is going to expand his economy. I really think Vinch needs to go like 4 TCs and go all in Castle Age, because when you have map control, a great way to lose map control is to take your foot off the gas. So here I think you have full Cav Archer, Skirm, Knights, Rams, And while you're doing that, produce villagers behind. No reason not to when you have control of the gold. So we had a double doubt castle. So weird. But it all comes back to Vinch's position on the hill. Fall behind an economy, but take the position, and that's maybe what Vinch is really good at. Oh no! What is this? Okay, land noticed that the knights were here. Like, for all the negative things we've said, uh-oh, this hurts. This hurts. Vinch will lose some vills, but... You know, I spoke negatively about his economy, but... He is really good at being aggressive. It worked out for him there. I'm really surprised he didn't just town center that gold. But I'm sure he wasn't expecting those knights to be there. What if those knights... What if these knights would have done a bit more next to that castle? There's a lot of what-ifs right now. And there's a lot of where do we go from here? Because the populations are even for both. It's just that, oh no, the sneak attack, the attempted sneak attack from Lan will be denied. I like this TC so he can breathe a bit, because he is lacking farm space. But the fact that he has to build 2 towers in the back corner is really bad for him. And Vinch is on the way to the Imperial Age. Not exactly what I was expecting. I was thinking maybe you just flood the map. There's not a whole... If you had knights now, you just clear out the mangoes, you run in, you probably win the game. But he wants Imperial? Is there anything land does against this now? Vinch is going to go for Cavalier for sure. He has some crossbows. And he has some mangonels. Alright, Vinchester, now don't you lose those skirmishers, Vinch. You need to hold your army numbers up. You're at your most vulnerable when you go to the Imperial Age and invest 1,000 food and 800 gold into that upgrade. There he goes. My goodness. This is awesome. I am definitely not going to read the name of the person who donated. Because this is a PG stream. But thank you, person who donated $5. The Scorpions will still get a few solid hits in here. Oh, actually, that's just good micro. That's just quality micro. But the Knights have armor. The Mangoes will go down, which means the Crossbows will go down. I don't think there's a chance here, really, for land. Let's think about what Imp brings Vinchester. Like, what upgrade will he gain from Imp? Probably Cavalier and armor. So, with that, Lan, who currently is ramming down these houses, would need to have Pike. And he just taps out. He calls the GG. For whatever reason, we can't see everything, but he calls the GG. The score is 2-1, and this series continues and gets a whole lot more interesting. Man! See, as I was casting the end of that game, I was just thinking, what could Lan have done different there? It dawned on me right before he built the castle. I said, either castle here or here. He pretty much would have needed more knights. He would have needed more army. He just didn't expect the siege to be there. And also, I think it was really cool from Vinch to get the Cav Archers there, because if the Cav Archers didn't arrive, then what happens is the knights that Vinch did have would clear out the skirms and the scorpions, and then that would have never happened. He would have lost that game. So there's been instances where Vinchester is ahead and then falls behind and loses after he was in a winning position. And there, I think Lan was ahead and Vinchester came back. So that will do good for his confidence. A lot of food for Vinch. I don't really care about this right here, though, guys. It was just the maneuvering, the positioning. Do you think Lan is going to be regretting the fact that he lost 20 crossbows in the northern corner? If those crossbows stay alive, this is a very different game. I think he'll be regretting that big time. If he never went back there, he then is pushing up that hill to build the castle with crossbows, a whole bunch of them, skirmishers, knights. I think he gets his castle up. I think Vinchester's castle is the doubt castle. And I think we're looking at a 3-0 scoreline, but instead it's 2-1. Okay, so the next map is set as slopes, alright? Khmer is globally banned, Aztecs is globally banned. and then any civilization that the players have used so far is globally banned. Normally, I would say we're seeing... Well, this is the way I see it. I guess we need to update the score in our overlay here before we talk about this, but Mongols are good on this map, Indians are good on this map. Those are the two that you think of first thing. But Ravines, which would be game number 7, right? It'd be game number 7 if we get there. Sorry, this overlay is confusing me. But yeah, Ravines is set as game number 7. That's where Mongols can shine, and also Bay. So I don't know exactly. I don't know. But we'll go on to slopes next. Vinchester would probably be someone... Wait a second. The next one's supposed to be... Robo? Robo. Remind me for a second. The next one's supposed to be slopes, correct? Or do we go... I thought it was... Arabia, home map, set map. It's supposed to be slopes. Okay, so they did it out of order then. Because what they did was, they did Arabia, they did home map, and now home map. So they're going to land's home map in the next game. So they did it incorrectly. And Robo... Well, it's kind of hard when we're doing recorded games, but I guess Robo didn't realize, or I was not told at least. So now we have islands. Cool. Well, why does it say Slavs and Indians? Well, now we know the civilizations for the next game. Spoilers. Hold on. I actually have to adjust something here. Sorry, I just blame my staff. We'll no longer pay Robo the $4 an hour we pay him. Technically, this is not Overlay Guy's fault. Now, I actually need to hear from Robo. If we're doing it in the wrong order, I need to know. But it's labeled as game number 4 here, so... scoreboard's been updated. Here we go. Perfect. Yeah, the way this is done is these recorded games, they were played a day or two ago. No one watches them except Robo, and then we cast them as if they're live, so we can structure it like this. But what an interesting series so far. This is the home map for land. He's incredible on water maps. They've both gone for Italians. Makes sense. There's not many other heavy water maps around. You could go Vikings, but I guess land can't go for Japanese due to the fact he used Japanese earlier. Now, much like some other mirror matchups, I think Italian mirror matchups are arguably the best on water because Italians are just straight up the best on water. You can do more with them. They have the cheap fishing ships. They have the cheaper dock techs. It's cheaper for them to advance to the next stage. I guess they're not the best water civ in everyone's eyes, but in my opinion, they are. Now, on this version of Islands, we've adjusted a few things. So there's 2 relics on each island. You'll see a relic here and here for Vinchester. And then land, you see his relics as well. And then the 5th relic is in the center on the gold island. And then the deleted neutral archery ranges, took care of those because this is a professional tournament, is on the stone island. But on some version of islands, there's only 2 tiles of stone here. That was the version that I used when I dropped those archery ranges. And then there's only a 3-tile gold. Instead, we have 6 tiles of gold in the center, and a relic, and also the stone. We wanted to give people a reason to fight for water. If any person is going to switch it up and not play the water meta, it's probably Vinchester here. Right? Vinchester's so unorthodox with his picks sometimes. And I feel like he might be the guy to land. And if he wants to land, what can happen is, land's going for that fast uptime, and he's used his scout to bring in his boar. So, his scout is now weak, which could put him at a disadvantage if that happens. Imagine if Vinchester towers here, behind the woodline and by the golds. That would be a good position, but I'm not sure. I'm not too comfortable. Does anyone know the last time they saw Vinchester play on water? I can't tell you the last time I've seen an Islands game with Vinchester. T90, interesting looking slopes on this map. Oh, it says slopes at the bottom, sorry. I forgot to adjust that. I can fix that right now. Should be good. Thanks for the reminder. Felix, alright. Felix, just don't worry about it. We'll have to do it in between games. Because I closed everything out. Unless... Oh, the boar's going back. Vince, don't lose yours. No! Oh, that scout's so weak. So much for him going landing. The boar did not want to cooperate there. I thought he would lose his scout. Yeah, let me see if I can figure it out here, Felix. Weakens the boar with his TC. Yeah, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. We'll do it in between games. It's not a big deal. I can do it manually. No one in chat is complaining. We're fine. Interesting dock position for Vinch. Because he could have docked on the front, and he chose not to. Compare that to Lan, who's docked on the front. It just seems like everything for Lan is going to be streamlined towards a very fast feudal age, and then full fight on water. T90, what was the big 1v1 that Vinch Esther? You separated Vinch and Esther. Won a while back? I don't know, did Vinchester win a big 1v1 a while back? I don't know. I mean, he competed. Oh, there was a big Islands game, I remember. Ah. Yeah, okay, so the last time I remember watching Vinch play Islands was 3 years ago. It was called the Age of Empires Champions League. And the winner of... what was it? So it was the winner of 4 different events facing off against each other. It was Viper. I think he won Masters of Arena. Yo, who won Masters of Arabia. Oh, Vinch is making a transport! I knew it! And then what was the other one? Does any other old-timers remember? Fire, I think, was Masters of Islands. And then what was the 4th event? Because Vinchester was in that. Was it like Masters of Russia? Because he would win that. Did he win Masters of Mega Random? I thought somebody else won Masters of Mega Random. Maybe that was it. This was a long time ago. Okay, so Vinchester's going for the landing. Lan is going for fast feudal full water control. Shh. Shh. Here he goes. So it's so risky, right? You don't know where your opponent is exactly. You don't know where their golds are. You can assume their strategy, but you don't know. Antagonist, Avanzo, a la Edad Feudal. Land is in feudal age. This is the position I talked about. Sneaky, sneaky. Oh, that would be so good. Now, you know what's interesting? Lan, if he sees the deer move... yeah, if he sees that deer move, assuming he's looking for it, he might think there's a sneak. He's going for full fire galleys, full meta. And there's... is that a range? That's a range. Stay away from the deer, Vinchester. Stay away from the deer. Because all three... those deer keep moving around. Most of you guys might think that that's not a big deal, but it's a huge deal. Oh, they keep moving. That bothers me so much. Okay, he realized. He wants to wall. He reacted to the deer. The deer is there. The villagers are there. Now the gate. And now the deer are actually close enough where he could take it if he wants. And we have a 2-villager tower. So sneaking can make life very difficult for your opponent. But also, it can give them full water control so they can fish boom. And here you have it. Lan is going to attack those fishing ships from Vinch. And he'll probably add his own fishing ships. You see here, he's adding his own fishing ships. So even if he loses a villager or two, he's going to be fine because of the fishing ships. They're very cheap as Italians. It's a weird tower to commit to, but it does go up. And I can guarantee you that Vinchester is going to be annoying. He will send archers into the tower, most likely. Repair the tower as much as possible. He still has 2 fishing ships working. It doesn't seem like Lan has... I'm surprised he didn't create more fire galleys. I don't know where they're all at. He was chasing this fishing ship. Still hasn't taken out those 2, so... there's more fishing than you would expect, and this is sloppy. Lan likes to play very clean. He reminds me a lot of someone like Fire, who on land maps walls heavily and plays safe with a lot of eco. On water maps likes to go full water. Vinchester, he's not really like that. Vinchester's really fun to watch, whether he wins or loses, because of how crazy he plays. I have to say, he has idled the eco quite a bit. Oh, but Lan is going for his own archer range. Guys, if you have water control, you know what that means. Counter transport. Uh-oh. But the transport is still here for Vinch. Oh, the demo's on the way! Wait, one demo, I learned this in Hidden Cup 2. One demo is not enough to take out a transport ship. It takes it down to about, I want to say 20 HP. Shh. Okay, sneaking again. The demo's still waiting. And, guys, Vinchester might spot that transport from land. And he's going to arrive on the wood line. This series is wide open. This is very winnable for Vinchester. He could take that villager out. He does. He could take 3 total villagers here. Oh, man. Or, oh, Lan. Wait, get him. 3 villagers down. And it'd be just like Vinch to fight underneath the tower, but he needs to back out. Alright. Now Lan's not really in the safest position to counter land because he needs to defend from the archers. If he can defend with walls, though. If this tower is decent, wall here and then maybe send the archers over is the play. The economy at home for Vinchester, he's starting to farm heavily. You don't have a lot of eco expansion for land, it's just the fishing ships. Where are those archers at for Vinch? Here they are. Yeah, this is the play. Wall to the TC. Defend with the tower. Uh-oh. No, Vinchester! Oh, God, man. Oh, that's sloppy. You've got to keep those numbers alive. I'm surprised he didn't lose more, actually. Oh, he's switching into galleys, Vinch. And he made a defensive range! So this is all because he saw the transport earlier. Because he made a few fires. What a game we have here. This is really good. And now, the transport is trying to get out of here for land, but he can't do that. He can't do that. The archers have to stay. The transport's fleeing without the occupants. So, these poor guys were just transported to die, basically. And now with the galley switch, maybe Vinchester's micro could mean that he could clean up those fishing ships. And his villagers are still over here. Like, that is the big difference here. Vinchester still has some land control over at Land's base. And Land's food count's not looking too hot. So, where'd the transport go for Vinch? The transport's hiding in the corner. And now I think Vinch focuses more on water control than anything else. I cannot stress to you the importance of all the distractions because Vinch had 1 or 2 fishing ships working that should not have been working. He's been able to comfortably take the shore fish, though he should probably take the berries now. I feel like Vinchester will start microing these down now. Let's see. It's close. See, I think he needs a big demo. He needs a big demo for sure. Well, by the way, he built a tower back here, and now Land has to leave the wood line. That's annoying stuff. Okay, there's a demo, and the demo, that's a good hit. Wow, interesting. Land just can't seem to be able to keep up with the pressure right now. There's too many areas to focus on. Oh, but he has a nice little surround. There's no more demos inside. Vinchester needs to hit and run, hit and run, hit and run. And he's doing that. Oh, this has been such a beautiful best of 7. There's a demo coming in on this side. Doesn't do much. What a close series. 52 population for both. Both players looking to be in the main event of Hidden Cup 3. It almost looks like Vinch just wants to fish right now. And oh my god, I didn't realize Lan was halfway up. If Lan is halfway... Oh, and Vinchester loses his navy. If Lan is halfway up, that's a huge lead then for Vinch. What is he doing here? Oh my god, guys. Okay. What he's doing is this. So he's chopping 20 wood with the 2 vills. Then he's clicking the gold. So he drops the wood. And then he's chopping the trees again. He wants to tree hop through. I've never seen that. Dude, it's like, it's so dumb too, because Lan can see it. Land can see it's happening. It's not going to surprise the guy. There, look, he has all the wood he can hold. He'll click the gold with both vills, and then the game, you just lose the resources, and then he'll chop the tree again. But it's such a silly move, though. Vinchester, focus less on that and more on your water micro and more on your macro, because you still haven't clicked up. You can tell he's not too focused on anything else right now. Guys, it felt for a while there like it was going to be Vinchester's game almost when he started to push back with galleys, but he didn't do enough, and he definitely didn't take out the fish quickly enough, and he's still... Okay, now he's on his way up, but this puts him pretty far behind. Does still have some presence on his opponent's island, which is great. Does still have docks to produce navy out of, but he's losing his numbers, and I think now the play is definitely transport a knight across. Or actually, maybe send a few knights up here, but I think if you get some knights over in Land's position, just 2 or 3, could be beautiful. Archers won't work. The skirms are already out, but if you send a knight over, that'd be great. Or you just boom. He's adding a second TC. It was the fish that made the difference there. And send the knights this way. Vinchester, how are your quick walls? How are your quick walls, Vinchester? Vinchester, no! Vinchester! He will save the vills. But the knights have armor. And the villagers are very weak, so he can't hop out, and that tower could go down soon. So, even the scouts here to help. Oh, man. Are you ready to see Vinchester micro? Watch this. I guarantee you, Vinchester... Actually, there's no guarantees. I can't guarantee any of this. But I have a feeling he's going to do whatever he can to keep these villagers alive, as he should. Alright. He's in the next stage. He's getting Bodkin, which will affect the galley, and affect the archers, and affect the tower. Interesting move from Land to decide to run into the tower fire. The villagers will stay alive then. Okay. How big is that economy going to be for Land? He's going to his 3rd town center right now. 3rd town center. Has done a great job on water. With that water control, can range so much of Vinchester's economy. And the tower is being repaired. But this is the gold of Land. He needs that gold. Vinchester is about to upgrade his navy, though he doesn't have much of it. And after it's upgraded, I think he'll be a micro nerd on the backside here. Still is a transport in that corner I assume he's forgotten about. Yeah, he'll hold on here. Alright, I like the additional fishing ships from Land. I think that's good. I think, since he's so heavily on stone, he wants to build a castle, but I'm not sure where exactly. Does he have to castle his own wood line to clear up that tower? He could drop a castle. Dropping a castle could be the play. It's 3 town centers for Vinchester behind this as well. T90, what's the point of the players picking 6 maps when they will never get to their last 2 home maps because of the set maps? Flabby Walls, because in rare instances, we'll actually see 3 home maps for 1 player in a best of 7. If you think about how a best of 7 can go, with game 1 being Arabia, and there being set maps, it is possible that we might need 3 for a player. I think both the transport ships are alive and just chilling out in the corner. But Land's ahead, and he's ahead in every category you would want to be ahead. He's ahead in Navy, so that's military. He's ahead economically. And with that, he should have no worries. I think all Vinch wants to do is take out the fishing ships. And Land should probably be aware of this. That's 1 down. Could be 2. This is a good move for Vinch. Try and keep this within reach. Also sent in the fire. Beautiful. Could send in this fire as well. Alright, and then maybe the monk. I'm not too sure, but the monk already dropped off the relic. The monk actually might get a conversion here. Nope. Okay. There's just a tower, a stable, a monastery, and an archery range. T90, do you think anyone will go for Doubt's Onager tree starvation strategy? I don't think so, no. Do I think that someone will go for Viper's Malay fish trap strategy? Possibly. Maybe Viper himself in the main event. Most people are picking Italians if they have the option, but you never know. And how was that not a conversion? Okay, there we go. I was gonna say, Vinchester would have been extremely unfortunate to not get a conversion there. I think this is all... It looks like this is going to be cleaned up. Vinchester's been so annoying with that tower. I want to see Land build a dock here. Right there. I want to see him build a dock, make 15 ships, 15 galleons, and then delete the dock. So you can't get to them with fires. That would be the play right there. How old are Land and Vinchester? I think they're around the same age. I think they're both about around mid-20s. Vinchester might be a bit younger. Alright, so docks on the backside for Vinch. He's going to try and win back water. But Land has the resources to click up to the Imperial Age. Okay, this is what I would do if I'm in Land's shoes. First, I would transport villagers and build 3 archery ranges on the neutral islands. Then I'd delete them, and then I would build a castle on the neutral islands and dock there. After that, I would snag this relic and take it back to my base, and then just go full water. So castle in the center is huge. I don't know if you can actually fit one here. And then castle here, basically castle on the weak areas of lands. I guess having... You also have to deal with this at some point. Like, you're almost out of your gold, but... When you have water control, you have to try and take those relics. Oh, he's going to castle drop Vinchester. Well, that's a play as well. This is basically saying, Vinchester, you're dead. I'm about to go 3-1 up on you. Let's not drag this out another hour, you know? Now, it is a bit risky to do this, but when you're so much faster to the Imperial Age, I think it's huge. And also, Vinchester did not get this relic, so we could see 4 relics to 1 for Land if he snags them. Can you convert a filled up transport ship? Yes, you can. When you do that, the units inside the transport ship are still enemy units. So the next level play is actually to keep the transport hidden in a corner. So let's say, for example, I had 6 transport ships, and they had 20 units in each transport. And you convert the transport. Or all 6 of them. You're essentially holding up 120 population if you leave them in the corner without deleting them. If you delete them, they die. But they're as good as dead if they're sitting in the transport. So if you just leave them there, then what happens is, I have 120 population I can't use, and I'm fighting with only 80 population, and I can't do anything to delete them either. So it's better than dead to just leave them alive in the transport ship. And then, you know, you hold them for ransom, you have to speak to the hostage negotiator, but you end up winning, so that's all that matters. Alright, beautiful job from Land to get the relics. He will have 4. He'll be on the way back to his base. Guys, he has Trebs. This is the Imperial Age TC for Vinchester. Yeah, he has Trebs. He has Condotieros. Oh! Whoa! Whoa! That was hilarious. Vinchester swooped in, sorry. And he wants those relics, okay. So, anyway, the relics are still here. That was funny. He just swooped on in. I would have never expected Vinchester to arrive. Little snipe there. I like it. But Vinch now needs to invest into crossbow to defend his own land. And the Condotieros, this is just the start, alright? Keep in mind that this gold is now going to be reclaimed, so... There's no worries there for Land. He will eventually get these relics, I imagine. The TCs will start going down. Oh, man. And Islands is definitely the map where you can stall games out, but it's really difficult for Vinchester to know what to do now. Because if you pressure here, or if you're not really pressuring, you're defending here, that's great. But... then you still don't have water control. If you go for water control and they're pressing you on land, Like, how much do you invest into each is the difficult thing. And here, actually, you have the trebuchets from land being transported over. I think Land knows about that castle, and he'll take care of that. And Vinchester had a great game plan in this game. Maybe he didn't switch to galleys fast enough. Look, he's trying to do it again! He's trying to do the tree trick. The game's developing too fast. You can't chop the trees and then drop off the resources like this. Those villagers will probably get picked off. Whoa, there's a castle here. This is how bad it is for Vinch, where he's building a castle next to 2 trebuchets. Okay. Well, Land's not going to care too much about this. He'll say thank you very much. He might need to bail, funny enough. He might actually need to bail on this. I don't know. Castles don't do that much damage to trebuchets. The villagers were house walled in, so they're protected. Funny stuff. He did build a barracks to raid the gold. Man, Vinch is so annoying to play against. So incredibly stubborn. Now, if he has navy behind this, if he had 30 galleons or 30 fast fire ships, this is winnable. Land just built the monastery here. He's doing it the lazy way. There's too much going on right now. Vinch doesn't really have the stone to repair much longer. He might need to buy stone. And there's another treb on the way anyhow, so I think he's almost delaying the inevitable. He was so close. Do you remember the deer? I said the deer. Maybe if Vinchester didn't poke the deer, it would have been fine. Maybe then Land wouldn't have noticed as early, the archers would have arrived, the tower would not have been up in defense. You have to know those things. If the pleb caster who places bad farms knows you have to avoid the deer, then I think Hidden Cup 3 qualifier has to know as well. The population is incredibly deceiving right now for Vinchester. It sounds dumb to say that it could have all been about the deer, but honestly, if you think about it, it's true. Because imagine if 5 archers with fletching arrived and Land didn't have any clue. Alright, bombard cannons for Vinch. I mean, if this comes down to how much wood one has, Land should be in a better position because of the fact that he has this wood secured. Like, that always becomes a factor. I think now cannon galleon's the way to go instead of traps. Go cannon galleon, and then bombard cannons don't really help Vinchester too much. Dude, Dude, Vinchester is so annoying. He's still raiding with Condotieros here. This is hilarious to me. He's continued to raid. I don't know where his vills went. I think his vills might have died. But it's just so funny how he's been so much of a pest that Land is dropping a castle here just so that doesn't happen anymore. T90 official, you beat Viper. Why are you not playing tournaments? Because it would not be good for business if the tournament host started beating the best player in the world, so I can't do that. Hidden Cup wouldn't be any fun, so I decided to just... I know it's a big prize pool. I know it is, but I decided for the better of the community. I'm basically turning down the $12,000 grand prize so I can cast for you guys. So, you're welcome. I try not to brag about it, but you brought it up, so... Can Vinchester win this? I mean... Okay, he'll take this castle out. He does have, where's the 4th relic at? Where did it go? There was another one. I mean, Land's gonna have 4 relics. Land has plenty of wood and gold remaining. This point, again, I think Land just needs to mass more on water and go cannon galleon to take out the castles. It's a slow crawl. Can we pay $15,000 to get MBL to cast instead? Sure, go ahead. If you donate $15,000 right now, I'll let MBL cast the rest of the day today. Go ahead. Try it. I agree, T90 should be able to pull it off. Casting and playing at the same time. I think you truly can. I mean, technically... Listen, I hope you sense the sarcasm, alright? I hope we don't see this big Reddit post later about how T90's a biased and a now conceded caster, I would have a chance of winning round 1 of the qualifier. Like, I've played against many of the players in the qualifier. I could maybe win round 1 the best of 5, depending on who I was up against. I'd have no chance winning. Like, even if I won round 1, I'd have no chance of winning round 2. The players who make it to round 2 are... Basically, I'd have to get a good bracket in the qualifier, is what I'm saying. But to get a good opponent in the qualifier, you have to get a good seed, right? And so it's not how it works. I would probably have been up against, let's see. I don't know. I don't know. It probably would be like Ink, basically. Ink up against Nikov. That's probably what it would have been. Best case scenario is I win a game there. A good play from Lan. Very smart play. Lan likes to castle drop in those situations. I remember him losing a game because he dropped the castle on the opponent's island and then they trebbed and bombard cannoned him down. Vinchester has not given up. And Vinchester has a lot more navy than I expected him to get. And he's also taken out quite a few trebuchets. Here we have 33 navy. About 40 for Vinchester. Or sorry, for Lan. Vinchester has 30. He does not have the fast fires in front. And now the cannon galleons are coming in. Elite cannon galleons. So 15 range. You need to protect them. But it's just more stone Vinchester's putting into repairing. Here we have a castle for Vinchester just to get a wood line back that he should already have. Because it's his islands. And I'm not seeing the production from Vinchester that I'm seeing from Lan. And I'm also not seeing the stone that Vinchester would need to repair. He's soon out of wood. He's soon out of trees to chop. If he loses the castle, he loses the docks. If he loses the docks, he loses the navy. Look at him microing. Look at him microing. He's trying to out-micro ballistics. What a nerd. He's trying his best. He actually has numbers. It's just that he has random numbers not where they need to be right now. Also keep in mind that a lot of his military is on land, which doesn't help him now. Oh, and that castle crumbles to the ground. Lan has the extra gold. He does have 4 relics, right? Okay, you got 4 relics. I'm really happy with the version of islands we have, because it gives people more reason to take control. You get the extra relics, you get the extra gold, you take the extra stones. It's not, like, much different from any other version of islands you've seen, but just a little bit goes a long way. And here we have what, exactly? Oh, villagers and a monk. Okay. Villagers and a monk. Probably, I think stables would be a good idea. Stables for some light cav. There's another castle here for Vinch. That could just be cannon galleon down as well. The Lan doesn't even need to hold. Or sorry, he doesn't even need to push here. He just needs to hold. I think he'll take this fight no problem. You're looking at 24 navy against 38 on our screen. And also, the cannon galleons were here, and Lan weathered the storm, guys. Lan weathered the storm. So, he is now 3-1 up. The next game will be on Slopes, which is a set map. And I think at this point, we have established that Vinchester is getting close in every single game. Game 1, he was very close if he missed it. Game 2, he was very close at times. But Lan is just a little bit better in important situations. And I think here what it came down to, actually, was Vinchester. He didn't go quick enough back onto water, and his castle time was way behind. If you go back on the water a bit faster, it's hard to do, but if you go back on the water a bit faster, then maybe Lan doesn't have a castle time that's 2.5 minutes faster. The reason Lan had such a big lead in the Imperial Age was because of his defense, was because he saw the deer moving, he knew the sneak was coming in, and then immediately, he saw the sneak, he added fishing ships, he then had more food to go to Imp, or sorry, Castle Age, and then Imp as well. So, a great game from Lan. He is 1 game away from making it into his first Hidden Cup. He tried to qualify for Hidden Cup 2, and lost to Dogao. Dogao qualified earlier today in his set. Will Lan be able to close this out and join the big boys? Lan was definitely someone you would have expected to have a shot. There's a reason that he's here right now, up 3-1 against Vinch. Lan is definitely one of the players that can perform well in the event as well. Vinchester will have to perform on the set map slopes. Everything just broke. Hold on a second. All right. So bear with me for a moment. Bear with me for a moment. Overlay guy. I'm going to DM you. We're going to blame Robo for this one. Ezeron, thank you for the 19 months. So these games were played yesterday or the day before, and basically what happens is Overlay guy, he basically sets everything up on the scoreboard. So I just like click game this or game that, and then it reflects everything else on our screens. We'll make sure we ban him for the next event, Kappa. Now Robo's been doing a lot of work. He's been posting on AoE Zone and posting on Reddit. He obviously coordinates with the players, gets all the recorded games, all that good stuff behind the scenes, so bear with me. T90, why do we need 3-player maps in case of a draw? Okay, so this is why you need 3 home maps before the next game. Think about it. There is a scenario in which 1 player would need to use 3 home maps. Because you use a home map if you lose a game, right? So I forget the order. Let's think. So I tell you to think about it when I know it's a fact, but I don't know the exact situation. So what we would need to have is, let's say Vinchester wins game, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know the situation. Just know that we are correct in that there needs to be 3 home maps. It's confusing laid out on our screen for the qualifier. I do agree with that. Like if you lose the first 2, let's see, lose first, lose second, win third, lose 4. I don't know. Think about it, chat, I say as I can't think of it myself. Butt of the Talks, thank you for the 15 months. He says, Hidden Cup 3 meetup hype. If you guys want me to say, and talk about the meetup, I can do so now while we wait. Felix says, if you lose game 1, yeah, okay. So if you lose game 1, lose game 2, win game 3, and then lose game 4, then you will have used 3 home maps. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so there's a big meetup. The official announcement will come tomorrow. You may have seen the guy around the stream, but Wayback Burgers in Breda, Netherlands. I think I'm pronouncing Breda correctly. They have a location that can hold up to 200 people. And they will be hosting a viewing party for the final 3 days of the main events. Where? It's Breda. But I will announce it all officially this weekend. Yeah. Also, there's an area in London, not affiliated with that company, that's getting involved. That, I don't know if that information is going to be confirmed yet. But this should be set, and I'm having some conversations to people who are having some conversations to get some stuff stateside as well. I'd like to have a big one on the East Coast and the West Coast, but we're running a bit out of time. Is it Breda? Breda? Cool. All right. Well, I got a bit sidetracked. We now need to get into the next game. Next game will be on slopes. Will Vinchester choose Indians, which is what a lot of people choose if it's open? He's going to choose Slavs. So it has to be said, I think we can appreciate the fact that Vinchester's going for what he considers to be counter picks. But there is a pretty clear reason why pro players are choosing Indians for this map where there's shorefish, and Indians have the shorefish bonus, or Mongols where there's deer. So instead, Vinchester wanted to go for Slavs. I'm personally really baffled by Vinchester's Civ picks. It's like he never wants to pick the norm, which I love in rated games. But if you're talking about a qualifier, a best-of-7 qualifier where you're trying to make it to compete for $50,000, the biggest 1v1 prize pool in 2 decades, do you want to pick Slavs here? We'll see. So this is one of my favorite maps in the event. I personally was experimenting in some training games versus a player who's in the qualifiers with Celts here as a counter to Indians if you wanted to do it. There's deer in the north, there's deer in the south, and then there's shorefish in the east and west. Indian villagers are very cheap, and Indian villagers carry more food from shorefish, and they also collect it very quickly. It's one of the fastest food sources in the game. And Land's actually going out here before the lumber camp, so he's going for a bit of a low elo legend tactic. And he's chopping that tree with just one vill. Gold positions look a bit exposed. This gold's not too bad. This gold's not too bad, though, for Finch. I think the map's pretty close. Pretty even. Says slopes at the bottom right, we're good. Man, I'm really happy. I'm really happy that the frame drops that we had earlier didn't continue. I wonder if Vinch goes for a drush. It's so risky, though. Like, someone said Lithuanian drush. Get the militia out the second minute and go over to the shorefish, but I feel like if you do that and they're walled in, it's still a waste of resources. Sangi, it is still Hidden Civilizations, no repeat, exactly. So in theory, Vinchester could be saving Indians for later on if he didn't want to go for Indians here. But maybe he feels like the fish are overrated. It's definitely going to give you a fast uptime. But I think in the mid-game, Slavs are going to be better because of their farmers. So perhaps Indians will have a strong start, and then Slavs will have the better mid-game. In some situations, I like Slavs more than Indians. I feel like if you can slow the game down and go for siege and infantry, it can be tough for Indians to deal with. Don't know if Slopes is the map, though, where it's going to be very slow. You know, you have pressure that's going to be coming in from all sides, and oh man, Land knows that the shorefish are a huge option, and he sent his scout out here. Okay, so that's just one villager. There's 3 more now, so Land probably won't fight. I thought that a single villager could get picked off there. Hey T90, finally I meet you on Twitch after 1 year of YouTube videos. You're awesome, and I love your content, smiley face. Started the game again after 15 years just because of you. Well, Headhunter, just don't go hunting for my head in community games. Glad you could make it. Yeah, I love this map. This is probably my favorite map so far, after watching the qualifiers. I mean, Arabia, obviously, because I'm human. Arabia's fantastic. But I think Slopes might be the best Hidden Cup map in terms of pure entertainment and just diversity of the games. But what's the plan for Vinch? I think he wants to go Man-at-Arms. I think he wants to go Man-at-Arms. I think he wants to go for towers possibly behind that. And I think he wants to go for a strategy we have flat out not seen yet on this map. Vinchester, TC is right there. It's a fixed TC location, Vinchester. Oh no. Guys, there's no excuse for that. As good as Slopes is, the town centers are always in these locations. So if you're here, you will know your opponent is here. That shows me he possibly hasn't prepared. Well, F's in the chat for that scout. Hopefully not F's in the chat for Vinchester, because if he loses this game, Land will be moving on. So what... Let's say Land does move on for a second. What has he shown you guys today? Is there a certain style? Is there a certain way of playing that you sense from him? Vinchester would be clear as day. Like someone picking civilizations that no one else would pick. That would be obvious. But I feel like with Land, he just plays clean. Like there's nothing really that special about him. I mean that in a good way, right? Like normally, if you're similar to all the other pros, that means that you're a fantastic player. Yeah, he walls and plays very safe. Indeed, yes. He really reminds me of Fire and of Dogao, who are both in the qualifiers. Dogao qualified earlier, but Fire has to beat, shoot, who does Fire play again, guys? I think Fire plays Barles. But yeah, there's something about his style. Very clean. There's no huge flaws in his game. He never overextends himself. That's a good way to play this game. There's a stable for Land. I like how he built it in front of the gold. Do you think Vinchester chooses Slavs because he's Russian? Well, he chooses Goths a lot as well. I don't know, man. It looks like a scalp build here. Alright. So now he's making a stable. He's going for scouts. He's just going for the farm approach. You notice how he's going for horse collar. So this is more of your traditional build for scouts. Whereas Land's build was suited more towards the map. Took advantage of the fish. T90, is Land like Jordan 23 when he was good? So there's a lot of Jordan fans out there. But the reality is that the meta is a lot more aggressive than it was back then. So yes, Jordan played very safe. But so did everyone. And with a variety of different changes in balance and then less lag and players just getting faster, that style gets you places. Like, it certainly puts you in the top, like, 20, 30, but it doesn't take you past that, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's fair to make large comparisons to Jordan because it was a different time and the meta was different. But yes, I would say that that's how Jordan would play. T90, does it make sense to tower the fish here? I think in this situation you can. Well, first off, most of the fish are going to be gone because they've collected it so quickly, but you're heavily behind in military numbers, so you really can't do that. And I think Vinchester, with this strategy, he's accepted he's going to be behind. He should know, but he's going to hope that these slab farms kick in for him. It's good logic. That will mean that you might need to make a few too many spears, and then maybe Land transitions into archers. We saw this map earlier. It was an Indians war. We saw cav archers, we saw halbs, we saw camels, we saw mangonels, we saw skirms, we saw crossbows, we saw virtually everything from Indians that game. So, and many people forget it's a very flexible Civ. And Vinchester, why are you leaving your base? This is the difference. If this was Land would say, I'm not going to leave my base. I'm just going to wait until I'm walled. I just have to wait another 20 seconds. Vinchester, it's like, he knows, he feels like he needs to attack, and he leaves his base, and he loses a vill. And now Land, he doesn't want to overextend, so he leaves. I've just got ahead of you, now you need to attack me. That's basically what he's saying. And again, Vince, you've got to be here, man. Oh, this could be so bad. This is so bad. Oh, Vinchester's taking so many hits. This is so unnecessary for Vinch. The score is 3-1. And he can't even take his main gold now. The scouts could be running all over him. This could be such a quick game. And it really has nothing to do with the slabs pick. I mean, it's part of it, right? But if he just walled there and played more secure, he wouldn't be so far behind. Guys, I think Land will soon click up to Castle Age behind this. Lightning fast time. Even left the fish here. So I think it's huge that Land realized that that food wouldn't last forever. And that he started to farm as well. This is just so unnecessary. Avoidable damage. All avoidable. And here he goes in for a small counterattack. Is there a hole anywhere here? There's a hole here. This could come right back into Vinch's control, but nope. No hole. Those three scouts do nothing, and Land is on his way to Castle Age. He will be in Castle Age around 18.5 minutes. That's incredible. To make that many scouts, pile on that much pressure, and then have a castle time like this is incredible. That is not easy to do. Yeah, in the main event, I do not know who's playing, indeed. So in the main event, players will be playing with hidden identities. I'm not told anything. The only person that knows is the admin, so it's spoiler-free there. I wouldn't even want to know. Like, what, am I going to try and convince my audience that I'm smart? No, that's not going to work, even if I have all the information, so... No, it's more fun, man. Hidden Cup's about the guessing, and... the hidden seeding also makes it very interesting because every round is important. You could have, like, on other tournaments, you're gonna have the early stages be kind of lame because you have Viper versus the 32nd seed. But it could be Viper Hera, Viper Tato, Viper MBL in round 1. You never know. Hopefully for Nikov, it's not Viper Nikov because he's experienced that before. Yeah, guys, this is Vinchester's problem. Every year, he shows up for tournaments. He gets to good seeds. He plays well. He played well today. He had some good games. He had some good moments. But the simple fact that the reality is he goes for some weird picks and he's not safe enough. There were so many instances in this game. In fact, the game that he won, he played way too open. He did not play safe enough. So it's not even just the games that he lost. The game that he won, it happened as well. That was a great game, though. You might want to rewatch that one. And so this has less to do with Indian's pick for me, and here come Cav Archers now. It has more to do with Winchester either not preparing enough or just not being the caliber of a player who can win a best of 7 against someone like Lan and ultimately deserve to make it into the main event of Hidden Cup 3. I mean, the Spearmen are there, but this is the easiest game of Lan's life now. He takes care of the Spears with the Cav Archers, and then he'll just break right through. I don't understand why you would ever go with Slavs in this map. I don't get it. I didn't see a single person train with Slavs in the practice games that were sent to me. There's so many things I just don't understand with Vinch. I love him to death. I think he's fun to watch. But it's less about how he... It's less about his mechanical skill, and it's more about how he plays the game. At the end of the day, this is a strategy game. This is not looking good for the Russian now. Beautiful play from Lan to go over here and see if there were villagers remaining. He did find some. Oh, and he's running into the back of the base. Vinchester's forced to build a tower. I don't think Vinch ever expected Lan to run through here. Oh, man. He now arrives in Castle Age. He just has no momentum right now. None. And now with the tower up, he can't go for a TC. Alright, nice gate. Again, has the skills to pay the bills. Quick walls. But there's a hole here. Oh, no. Oh, Vinchester. Sad times, man. Sad times. T90, would the Nobru Inca Villa Rush work on this map? I think it could. I think it could. Towers could be strong on this. If you surround someone with towers and they can't expand, it could be very good. But take a look at this now. As we look to Lan's base, Cav Archers are such a difficult thing to mass if you're not Huns because they're so expensive. He has the numbers already, and he's adding that second town center and the third town center, and that's not something that Vinch can do because he was forced into the tower. So now he's committed to going towards... It just doesn't seem like he's prepared, or it doesn't seem like he knew the map. He lost his scout at the start. I think his army's going to get mopped up here. There's too many Cav Archers. They're not even elite skirmishers, Vinchester. Okay, that Spearman. That Spearman did some damage. That Spearman killed a few Cav Archers. I just don't see any way back. These villagers are now surrounded. It's a map where you need to be aggressive on. At the same time, it's a map where you need to protect yourself in early game. T90, as seeing what Lan is doing, and it just auto-corrected to Ant, what would you do if you were Vinch? Well, I mean, I talked about it in Feudal Age. You have to protect yourself. Everything that's happened here was all avoidable. I still feel like what he was thinking with Slavs is good. But yeah, let's say this is a $1 million game, and he has to try and win this. You need a second town center, and then you probably need a siege workshop. I mean, even the elite, the thing is, even the elite skirms, it doesn't matter how much money you win playing this, you're still way behind here, because you send the skirms out, and Lan will probably just send either siege or a camel, so it's really tough, man. But yeah, from here, you have to somehow get onto the town center numbers, catch up with villagers when you're 10 behind, and anytime you send skirms after the Cav Archers, unfortunately, they'll run away, so the score is so different right now. There's such a huge gap in the score because that's how far ahead Lan is. Lan is just too strong on Lan's maps, yeah. I mean, Lan is a good player. There's a reason many people see him as the next big talent on the scene. Because this guy hasn't been, like Dogal, for example. Dogal, who is going to now be in the main event after winning his set earlier. He's been around a lot longer than Lan. Lan is young. He's I would say a bit more. I mean, David played the game for years, but he hasn't played it for near as long as some of these other talents. So he's definitely one to look out for, and he's a giant killer too. I think with his style, like he's obviously prepared. He plays very clean. It's kind of hard to know who he is, kind of hard to know what he's going to do, but this is looking good. Beautiful micro for him there. You already know. Thank you. Wow, hold on. He donated 10 bucks. He said, been seeing a lot of smack talk in chat towards T90 today. Not in the usual lighthearted way. Seems just downright mean. Hope everyone is in a better mood after the weekend lull. Cheers. Well, I didn't really sense it being mean, but you never know. I wasn't looking at chat too much today. Now I feel a whole lot better than it. Thank you. Thanks for the 10 and also for the 10 gifted, man. So the score difference continues to climb. You're looking at 600 score difference 28 minutes into the game. It's a huge deal, and the problem here is it should continue to grow as well. Like, Lan's position should just get stronger and stronger and stronger because he's booming behind this more than Vinchester is. And what you could do is try and snipe the Mangonel with the Knight. If you do that, then the Knight will eventually die, but you do get one. That's one thing. Could also expand, which he has done, and I think this is why I felt Slavs would be strong on this, is if you get to the woodlines, you can extend the farming eco more. Hey, T90 watcher. T90, do you think Age of Empires 2 DE will bring new pros into the game soon? Considering it takes probably 2 years of non-stop play, at minimum, to get to top 100, you're probably looking at year 2021 or 2022 as the years where people who started on DE would show up. Do I think there's going to be many new names? I don't think so. And it's just because of how good top 100 players are. And then, even then, like, people in the top 100 can't compete with people in the top 20. It's crazy. So, yes and no. For people who straight up started with DE, it would take some time. But you never know. I don't know. Maybe Hidden Cup 6 will have $1 million prize pool and all the StarCraft guys will show up. I still think then it would take them a year minimum, but hard to say. It's just one of those situations, guys, where I don't see how Vinchester can turn this around if Lan plays perfect. So for Lan, you're up 3-1. It's time to close it out, dude. You have the lead. You're leading in the series, so there shouldn't be a ton of pressure there. He's ramming down the stable. He'll ram down the archer ranges. Sure, if Vinchester lands a few big Mangonel shots on the siege of Lan. Oh no! I was just gonna say that he could then use his skirms and his crossbows against the cav archers, and he could have some moderate success, but if you're playing this good, the light cav will come in to take out the siege, and then it'll probably happen for the skirmishers as well. I love how Lan has done this. He's ahead, and he's continued to put his foot on the gas. I love the light cav switch. So many players would just live with this advantage and go imp, but instead he added light cav first for some map control. That's good stuff. And plopping down a castle in the center for those golds and stones to be more secure. 1,300 score difference now. It's very much one of those situations where if this was game number 1, I think Vinchester would have considered calling it, or at least it's getting very close. But if Vinchester loses this, his dreams of playing in the main event of Hidden Cup 3, they won't come true. In StarCraft 2, if you make a mistake, you lost. Yep. I mean, it's like that in Age. It might not be quite as punishing, and I can't really compare the scenes too much. But Age, there's a bit more diversity in what you can do and ways to come back. But still, at least in this case, we saw pretty clearly, well, first off, thanks to e-pathing, but we saw pretty clearly, you make a mistake or two against someone like Lan, who's playing perfect, there's just no way you come back unless they make another mistake. Or sorry, they make a mistake themselves. The difference is huge. Vinch is hoping to get the resources to click up, and LAN is already on the way to the Imperial Age. But this map is the type of map to come back on. This is definitely one of those maps, but how do you do it? How do you come back on slopes? How do you change things? You use mobility. And Slavs are not a mobile civ. Like, you pick Huns, okay, I get it, mobile civ. You pick any civilization where you can pressure the sides, where you can use speed, I get it. But to pick a civilization where everything's inherently very slow just doesn't sit right with me. Now, I don't know what the preparation is like for someone like Vinchester or Lan. I don't know at all, actually, who Lan was training with. It's obvious that he had some training here. Vinchester, after losing his scout, made me think that he didn't know this map all that well. But it could have just been a, you know, a brain fart. It happens. How about Tatars? Well, okay, so Tatars could be really good if you take the hills. But I think it's still hard to compete with Indians, Mongols, or Huns on this. But, you know, I'd like to see Tatars utilized. Maybe if we get some show matches in, someone will pick Tatars for us. I know that some people really like Tatars. I want to like Tatars a lot. Wow, now a castle over here. And that castle's definitely going up for land. See, he's playing perfectly. Guys, look at the scouting. There's no auto-scouting here, by the way. Okay, he's actually clicked it himself. Look at the scouting. He's on both sides. On both the slopes. He has a castle in the center. He knows that Finch was on this gold, so he's on that. He's now in the Imperial Age. Finch is on the way to the Imperial Age. But yeah, the guy is everywhere. He well and truly has played this near perfect. This guy's deserving of the Hidden Cup 3 main event for sure. Now, I find people like Lan very interesting if he makes it into Hidden Cup 3. Because no one, like, nothing's going to happen during the main event that's good where people are going to say, Lan. Like, normally the way it goes is players guess this, or sorry, viewers guess the same 5 players. If there's a demo, it's Tato. If there's good micro, it's Leary or Viper or Hera. If there's a lot of walling, it's like Tim, who might not make it in. He has to play Doubt on Monday. That will be a crazy set. Or, I don't know, some Chinese player. You know, it's like, or Backed, I don't know, who's Vietnamese, obviously. But, so no one guesses Lan. And afterwards, you're like, wait, that was Lan? What? Lan just beat Viper 3-0 in the first round? What? That would be an upset. I think that, I think that's pretty unlikely, and we also don't know who Lan will face, but I do like he's getting the relics now. So there's 2 relics on each slope, 1 in the center. He's working on getting all of them. And, oh, that was the Imperial Age TC for Vinchester. He almost lost it. Oh my god, can you imagine losing the MTC? I mean, he's already 60 population behind, so it wouldn't have made much of a difference. But that definitely would have been the nail in the coffin there. Yeah, Vinchester is too far behind now. Hate to see people lose, but it's what happens. It's what competition is all about. I don't think Vinchester can have any complaints either. He's just completely surrounded now, and though we can't see all the in-game chat, the GG is called, and Lan has earned his spot in Hidden Cup 3.